Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. It's Friday night, and it's not just Friday night. It's a very special Friday night. Welcome to the Christian Whistleblower Show. And I'm very honored tonight. I'm very privileged to be welcoming to the show the young Pharaoh. He's a teacher. He's a music artist. He's a fighter. He's a man of very strong convictions. He's a man of his word. And let me just say tonight, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a real world big boy, big girl conversation. So I don't want none of you motherfuckers complaining about shit in the chat room.
Right.
And with that,
that's right.
Young Pharaoh, tell us about you and your work, my friend.
Well, first, before I get started, I want to say shout out to you, Jeff, if you don't mind me calling you Jeff.
No, please do.
Okay, shout out to you, Jeff. Much love and appreciation for you reaching out to me and pulling me on your platform, because I would love, not even just specifically you, but if more real people did this as often. I'm not just for everybody. I turn down invitations all the time, but for people that I actually respect the way they live their life and the way they think, I wish we would all make it a point to interconnect with each other, every so often, just to expand the people's minds, because this is actually more influential than people really realize. This is breaking down so many barriers and so many gaps that are going to be essential to the expansion of people's consciousness. And so I want to thank you for having me on your platform. And before I forget what I was about to say, addressing you, I want to say, me personally, y'all, I'm self-educated. I know some of y'all, you love the government's form of what you think education is so much that that's not big to you, but I'm here to tell you, I honestly could give a damn what you think. I'm self-educated. I'm very well studied and researched in many fields, from genetics, history, especially Black history. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I hate to use the word, but for all of the conspiracy theorists out there, extraterrestrials, human consciousness transplantation, all of that, I'm with all of that. I bring receipts, as I call them. That's my word. I use receipt. I bring receipts. So for the craziest shit that you could ever think of, I can actually prove it to you, to the point where if we had to go to court, I could prove that shit in the court of law. And so I just want to let people know, we're not on here playing games for views. We're trying to wake y'all up, and we're doing this work. And we're going to give y'all a little taste of that on this stream. There you go, Jack.
And Pharaoh, there is a lot of people that are just here trying to make some money. They're just here trying to get some views. They're just here trying to pad their ego or whatever. And, I'm not knocking that. There's a lot worse things they could be doing. But the thing that really attracted me to you, a couple people in my chat room said, you got to check this brother out. And I started looking at your stuff. I'm like, damn, he really doesn't care. He's got a message. He's got something he wants to say, and he doesn't really give a hot goddamn whether you like it or not. He feels like he's got to bring that message. And I feel the same way. A lot of people said we checked out Pharaoh, and it's like listening to you, sort of, except you're a young Black man and I'm an old white man. So there's that.
Well, you meet at that truth. And that's the thing. That's the thing about the truth. No matter what path you on, we're gonna all meet there. And I appreciate that. And one thing about what people like me and you do, people don't realize this is not something that you could get up and just play. Like, for example, you mentioned earlier that I fight. You can play football. You can play basketball. Your ass can't play Muay Thai. Okay, that's not something you can play. And so when it comes to what me and you do, this is something that's a psychological and a spiritual dedication. This is not something that, if we was fake, we wouldn't be able to do this. And so This is something that we dedicated to the point where me personally, I'm willing to lose my life over this shit. And so
me too.
That's right. And so
that's what makes us dangerous, Pharaoh. Go ahead and shoot us.
Yeah, go ahead. And you bet don't miss me, because I'm sitting one back.
You better make sure the first one drops me. That's all I gotta say.
Make sure. But yeah, that it's a love for people, man. And it's a love for the potential of, in this day and time, just having a normal life. We can't even talk about having, human life in advanced forms of consciousness. We just trying to get back to being normal. Yep. And so, I appreciate you pulling me on this platform, Jeff. And you know, we're gonna get into some fire topics.
Yeah, this just hit me, Pharaoh. You know, if you look up white in the dictionary, it's my picture. I'm as white as they come. Blonde hair, blue eye, upper middle class, white guy. You look up young black man, it's your picture. And this is the last thing that the elites, the powers that be, the people that run this fear and guilt blood matrix or blood magic control matrix, this is the last thing they want happening. They don't want young Pharaoh and Jeffrey Daugherty sitting down and having a man-to-man, heart-to-heart conversation. They don't want that. They want us, you know, they say never talk about politics and religion. That's all I talk about. Because if we do talk about politics and we do talk about religion and we do talk about race, then all of a sudden we start realizing, oh, we're just people. There's agendas, and maybe it doesn't come down to black or white. Maybe it does. We'll talk about that tonight. But maybe there's a lot more things involved in it. And last night I watched some of your live stream, and it was good. And you had a couple of really powerful statements you made about a couple of subjects that are very relevant to this audience. If you don't mind, would you start off our discussion tonight talking about your perspective on artificial intelligence and the LGBTQ and transgender agenda and how that kind of morphs together, even with white people adopting black people? It all came in together and in a beautiful way. And please just take the reins and go with it, my friend.
Yes, sir. And I want to say this, okay, to any white people, okay, because it's like, I want to let y'all know, I'm going to say some shit from time to time that's going to rattle you if you're a certain type of white person.
I'll be disappointed if you don't, I'm telling you.
I'm just letting you know, if I don't rattle you, good. But if I do rattle you, you might got little things in there you got to tweak. And so the reason I'm saying that is because before I start, and I was talking to Jeff before we even did this live stream, so I'm going to say this. And I say this all the time, even on my platform. From my Virgo mind that has analyzed and been particular in regards to what I feel people need to do around the world to better the world. I believe that everybody from their own community needs to get out all of the negative entities and then bring the best of their community to meet with the other communities who have done the same thing. And so, for example, I don't believe that black people should can tell white people what to do, because you don't want to hear that. I don't believe that white people can tell black people what to do, because we don't want to hear that. We already, listen, Jeff, you can say right now, Jeff, selling drugs and gangbanging is bad. My immediate response is going to be, nigga, you racist and you brought the guns and drugs in the community. And even though that is technically, not saying you racist, but that's technically true, what you said is not untrue. And so if I can't tell you to change you, only you can change you. And so I think that black people have a responsibility to say, you know what? Pause everybody else for a minute. Where is we fucking up? And if we can't change it, we need to create a new group of black people to publicly display ourselves in this type of lifestyle, so at least we can detach from that collective image. And I think white people need to say, you know what? We is racist as a motherfucker sometimes. And we do benefit from this, that, and third sometimes. We need to detach ourselves from these motherfuckers so that we can grow and take this world where it should be being taken, instead of the petty bickering. And the reason I gave that disclaimer is because before I give my build, I need y'all to understand, if it don't apply, let it fly. Now, coming into the LGBTQ community, right? And I'm big on this Trojan horse analogy, so y'all gonna hear me use it a lot. The way the elites work, right? Or way that people that practice occult work, that practice the occult work, is emotional energy. Okay, E is for energy, emotion is for motion. So emotion is actually a word that secretly means energy and motion. So in order to get anything moving, you have to set that energy in motion. What is the easiest way to get somebody to do something? To emotionally influence them. So if I can make you feel bad, or if I can make you feel good, I can make you do what I want you to do. So what they do is they play on your human foundation of compassion. And they say, oh, this person's being bullied for being gay. This person's being bullied for being transgender. When in actuality, nobody wakes up and says, let's go burn down a transgender house. Never. I am probably the most anti-transgender motherfucker on the planet. I can't stand this shit. And I have never woke up and had a violent thought towards transgenders. All I've ever thought was, I hope these motherfuckers don't come near me. That's the only thing I've ever thought. And so the point I'm trying to make is, what they do is they push this LGBTQ agenda on you, right? And they play on the compassion of the people. And even though they forcing it on us without our permission, if you reject it, then they hitting you with the reverse psychology of discrimination and hate speech, etc. You can still hear me, Jeff?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. So they hit you with the reverse psychology of, you know, you being discriminative, or that's hateful, or whoopty whoopty wah. And so what you do is you submit because you don't want to seem like a indecent human being. And so you say, you know what? I'll let a man that's dressed like a woman go to the bathroom with my son because I don't want to feel like I don't respect his human rights. Now, what you don't see is that he's the Trojan horse, because if you accept him in the fact that he wants to be genderless, okay, you are accepting a check off the list of your human rights. So if you allow somebody to convince you that gender doesn't matter, now we got the transracial shit going on. So race is not about to matter. Then we got the pedophiles, because most of the trannies in the LGBTQ community are registered sex offenders. Go look it up. This is why they be coming in there talking to them kids, because it's easier to get close to kids if you dress like a woman, apparently. So you accepting the genderless agenda, you accepting the ageless agenda, and you accepting the pedophile agenda. Okay, and in the non-existence of a race agenda. And so what you're accepting ultimately is the declassification of what makes you a human, let alone an individual human. So if we accept the foundation of what the LGBTQ, aka this circus act that's being funded by the elites, is pushing on us, we will be tricked into using our own human compassion to aid and abet the artificial intelligence agenda. They've already, in the Middle East, I can't remember what specific region it was, they have already gave a robot citizenship.
Saudi Arabia.
Yes. And so you feel like, oh, that don't matter because that's just overseas. Don't worry, it'll happen here too. And so what happens when there's no such thing as race, there's no such thing as age, there's no such thing as gender? You might as well be a robot, because a robot doesn't have age, a robot doesn't have a gender, and a robot doesn't have a race. So now when they start getting these little AI, humanoid bots and giving them motherfucker citizenship, you won't even be able to argue it, because how you gonna say you a human being and you gave up your right to be a human to the LGBTQ?
So our fear of standing up and saying, no, a guy wearing a dress is not bringing his ass into the men's room with my son, our inability to stand up and say no to something that makes perfect sense will translate to us losing our identification and our rights as human beings, because one step away, they're going to, one step at a time, we're like the frog in the water. You heat it up, frog's fine. It gets hotter, it's hotter. Frog doesn't jump out. And before you know it, his ass is boiled. They are boiling our asses, and we are giving them the match to light the damn burner.
That's right. And we doing it because we think we being nice.
Because we're too nice. And no, it's not really nice. You know what it is? We're afraid, PHARAOH. We're afraid to say no way. We're not doing that anymore.
That's right. And that's why they need people like us to say, go and get your bitch ass up out of here.
Exactly.
If you want to wear a dress, ain't nobody tell you can't wear a dress. But what's all this other extra shit? And my thing is, you can always tell when somebody has an agenda, because with their actions or the actions that they're trying to get you to accept, they won't do it individually. It's like if I say, Jeff, I got a business plan and this is my idea. Why I can't just go do that on my own? Why I gotta ask you to get involved? Why you gotta partner up? Because it's some shape or form of fashion that I need to use you, and I do mean use you, in my agenda. And so my thing is, ain't nobody saying that I wouldn't give a fuck if they wanted to think they was Komodo dragons. All I'm saying is, why not do what everybody else does? Go find somewhere to do that shit. It's one thing if they said we got a woman's bathroom, a men's bathroom, and a genderless, a gender neutral bathroom. That's cool. But why are you trying to force yourself in our shit? Why are you trying to do that? And so that was already the red flag. And then when you do the research, y'all will see most of the people that advocate these groups, such as Black Lives Matter. And as a black man, I will tell you, I don't fuck with Black Lives Matter at all. They don't speak for me at all. Okay. Most of these groups are not even created by the people that's advocating. Black Lives Matter was started by a Jewish man.
Imagine that.
Yeah, so it's like, that's fucking great. That's like me. That's like you advocating on the street, white lives matter, and they do the research, and I'm in a picture, and I'm it's like, how can I advocate? And I'm not saying that we can't have compassion. I'm not saying that I can't say, you know what you did with Jeff and his family is wrong, and I'm gonna back him on that. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, how can I argue your argument better than you when I'm not you?
That's right.
Yes, go ahead.
Pharaoh, the one thing that I really wonder about is, okay, you're a man, you want to dress in a dress, and you want to supposedly be a woman, right?
Yes, sir.
Why the hell can't you put on some makeup and get you a nice wig and somebody teach you how to do your hair? Why can't you at least look like a decent, good-looking woman instead of being all ugly and shit? Come on, if you want to be a woman, be a damn woman. Do us all a favor.
Like that dude that was in GameStop talking about, it's ma'am, it's ma'am. Like, dude, you still look like Tyson Fury. Talking about
give us a damn break and at least put a little paint on that barn.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, and it was just so profound to me, that if we allow, okay, let the guy wear the dress, okay, let the robot have citizenship, then all of a sudden there's no man anymore, there's no woman anymore, there's no black, there's no white, and then all of a sudden there's no human. So tell me this, was Paul McCartney and Michael wrong when they said it don't matter if you're black or white?
Yeah, they were wrong. And the reason I say that is because I believe in racial individualism, but not from a hateful standpoint. I respect people, and I believe that what makes us individual is what makes us great as a whole. For example, people got favorite animals because they respect the different genetic factors of the animals. You're not gonna say, oh, it don't matter if you're a tiger or a bird. Yes, the fuck it do. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it does.
Especially if you're a bird.
Yeah, especially, and you better not be a bluebird. You better be an eagle at least. And so the same way that we respect nature, and if you actually, and I'm one of them kids. I grew up watching Animal Planet and Discovery Channel. I was one of them kids. Like, you gonna come in the house and turn the TV when I got it, because I'm watching shit that's boring to the average toxic person. So the reason I say that is I watch National Geographic right now, just on a humbug. And so if you watch nature is not as violent as Animal Planet makes it seem. You can see lions hanging with the same animals that they hunt until they get hungry. You can see crocodiles let the birds sit right on their snout until they get hungry. And so the thing about nature is, animals act out of necessity. But when we do some shit, we call each other animals, but we don't even, if that's the case, animals got more decency than us. And so the reason I say that is because it's peace in the jungle or the rainforest, whatever habitat you imagine it. It's peace in an animal-based environment because they respect each other's individuality. If they did not, they could not live harmoniously. So it would be me. I would be doing you a disservice, Jeff, if I looked you in your eyes, looked your kids or whoever your loved ones is in the eyes and said, your race does not matter. Then I just deleted your whole life. I just deleted your whole history, and I'm deleting your future. And so the real issue is, race does matter. People just got to stop trying to make their shit matter more than the next person's. So my thing is, I don't give a damn if you sit on this live stream right now, Jeff, and you say, I love being white. I would clap my hands. It wouldn't offend me because I want you to love yourself. But it's people who don't realize, how important self-hate is. And so sometimes when you love yourself, you could be, when you love yourself and somebody see it, they could take it as, an attack or like a blow. But that's because they don't feel like you should be that proud to be who you are, because they're not proud to be who they are. And so there's nothing as a white man you could say positively about yourself or your people that would make me give a fuck, because I feel the same way. And I'm glad you do, because if you do, I know I can fuck with you because you take care of yourself the way I take care of myself. So a lot of it just comes down to, can we be fucking adults and be mature? Because what's really wrong with the world is shit that you learn as a kid, like share, you know what I'm saying? Don't be selfish. If people would just go back to what their parents or whoever they adults was as when they was 5 and apply that, the world would change today. And if I could just say, you know what, Jeff, I don't give a fuck if you grew 3 arms and 5 wings. You deserve water. You deserve clean air. Like, goddamn, it's not that hard. You know what I'm saying? Even water, even animals need water. And so the issue is not really that hard. You know, to me, I feel that, I'm not gonna say I feel, I know that there's been a blueprint laid out, okay, by these group of people who happen to be white. That's true. They happen to be white. So, you know, this is more so your job, Jeff, and your community to check your peers. But it's a group of people that happen to be white that we all identify with one word, the elites. We're just gonna call them the elites. I call them the administration, okay? The administration, and these people have a chaos theory, and they work in this motherfucker, and they believe that from chaos comes order. And so if they can get the blacks fighting with the middle class or lower class whites, if they could get the Spanish people fighting with the blacks and the whites, and get everybody fighting with each other, you won't see them coming. And so I say that because I actually study history, I research history. I'm actually waiting to debate some black Freemasons because I want to show them that you consider, I mean, you are considered with, I mean, excuse me, you are with European Freemasons, a clandestine Freemason, and I actually have shackles from slavery that have the Freemason emblem on them. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is because a lot of people say, well, why didn't white people stop slavery? Which is kind of true. But on the flip side, you couldn't be a slave master unless you was a Freemason. So education, class, monetary, you know, monetary segregation, just like that shit is inserted today, it was inserted then. So we can't assume that every white person was a rich slave master. Some white people was what they are today, trailer park trash. So
there was only 7% of the people in the Confederacy that owned slaves, but you don't hear that number either. And
so the point I'm trying to make is what we got to do is we got to know who we, and I say this hypothetically, we got to know who we shooting at. Okay.
Exactly.
And so this is why it's crazy, because I could go outside and get harassed by a police. And matter of fact, I said that I got racially profiled. I think
Pharaoh, is that a real thing? Driving while black, is that a real thing?
That's a real thing. And if it wasn't, I wouldn't cap. Like I tell you all the time, it's been some good police. I've ran into some beautiful police. I've been in jail since I've been going to jail since I was 16 years old. The reason I say that is because I've met some decent white men that's been police. And I'm not saying that to knock slavery off the table or shit that we're going through for sure. But what I'm saying is racial profiling is a real thing. So just because all police don't do it, and it might be police watching right now and be like, I go to work every day, and we're not talking about you. But it happens, and you know it happened, just like I know the shit y'all say we do in our community happens. So I couldn't, if you say niggas be selling weed, I couldn't be like, we don't be selling weed. I could call a nigga right now and get some weed if I wanted it. So just like I know some of the shit you be saying is true, y'all know some of the shit we be saying is true. And I say that because I'm legal. I'm as legal as you can be. I'm driving a 2019 Mustang, minding my business. I'm at the light, Jeff. I'm not even driving. I'm at the light. It was 2 police cars. They busted left, and now they in the opposite lane as me. And the one behind looked at me and busted a U-turn. So when the light turned green, I didn't even pull off. I'm like, I'm not even about to pull off. Fuck it. I just got over a little bit. I pull over. Now I'm a player, and luckily I've had so much police contact in my life, I don't even get nervous anymore. I'm kind of like used to the shit. So I roll. I know how the game go. I roll both the windows all the fuck the way down. I don't crack them. Now I roll both the windows down. Nothing. Nobody smokes in my car. None of that. My shit still smell like I bought it off the floor. So I just throw my arm on the window and I'm just waiting. Like, what do you want? So he come to the window. I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, what's up? Like, what do you want? He like, this your car? Motherfucker ain't say I did nothing. He ain't ask me what my name was. None of that. He just asked me, is this your car? So I said, yes, this is my car. Like, yeah, it's my car. I'm like, I know you know it's my car because I know you random tap. So he just hit his little mic and he asked the dispatcher, like, you know, this, that, and the third, said his little numbers and asked for my registration. Asked who was the vehicle registered to. So while he doing that, I turned to his partner. I said, why y'all pull me over, man? Like, why? Come on, man. Like, what's the problem? So his partner looking in my car, and then I had a GPS. Like on my windshield, like suction cup to the windshield. Mm-hmm. So he was like, oh, you know, that's a traffic violation for you to have that in the windshield, and we could pull you over for that. So me being me, right? I said, I'm not arguing with you. I said, so this is why y'all put me over? Because now we establishing probable cause. He said, yeah. I said, would you like me to take that down? He was like, yeah, I took it down. I turned back to his partner. His partner was like, oh yeah, vehicle's registered to him. All right. And gave me back my license and then spent off. But I'm like, I'm not arguing with y'all. I'm not getting hostile. I'm not doing none of that. Would you like me to take this down? Because when you, and it's just crazy that I have to say this, because there's fears of each community that the other community may observe, but you can never really know what it's like. Like there's things that come with being white that you might try to express to me. And as much compassion as I have, you could never know what that's like. And so me right now, it's 10:29 where I'm at. I'm not leaving out this house. Not because I'm fearful of anybody, but it's not a guarantee that if I literally drive up the street, I'm going to make it back home. So when I first moved to where I am now, I'm not going to give my location, but I'm not like in the heart of the ghetto, but I'm not in the suburbs. I got pulled over 4 nights in a row just for living out here. And it took for me to tell one cop, like, listen, man, I live here. Like, put that shit in the computer or something. So, yeah, like, put that shit in the computer so when one of y'all get behind me and say, leave him the fuck alone. And so this is real. I'm not making this up. This is our reality. And I'm not saying this to excuse, you know, law enforcement cracking down on crime. Because some people will take, because this is what I don't like, when black people play the race card, but they actually in the wrong. Because then it takes away from us. Then it takes away from us that's actually not doing shit. So if you out here doing shit, I mean, go down with your chin up and do your and I mean handle that. You know what I'm saying? If you out here being illegal and the police pull up on you, do not become Malcolm X. Like, no, go to jail and do what you got to do. But for those of us that's just trying to literally go to the store and get some diapers and we shot or we, you know what I'm saying, or we attacked, this is who I'm talking to. And so I want to let y'all know, especially the white community, this is a reality. This is a fear. It's a fear. Not for me, but for 85% of black people. After 9 o'clock, we don't even go to the store. And I want white people to do an experiment. If you think I'm lying, after 9 o'clock, just drive, not on the highway, just drive on regular streets and tell me how many black people you see at the light. I'm telling you, you probably never thought about it. Look, we don't leave our house after 9 o'clock because the most racist police take the third wheel shift, which is 11 to 7 a.m. But some of them come on early. So if you look, like when I was 16, I got beat up in a yard by like 15 police officers. I went to the hospital, everything. And they motherfucking cuffed me in the car, Jeff. I ain't had no shirt on, nothing. Cuffed me, rolled the windows down and flew all the way to the motherfucking airport and then back downtown. I'm freezing. I was like 16. And so I just want to let y'all know that we not making this stuff up. We are being abused. And it's dangerous because what it'll do, because this happened to me. And I'm speaking, it'll make you say, fuck white people. Fuck every last one of y'all motherfucker. And it'll make you want to get on some bullshit. And so what happens when I'm abused for 16 years of my life? Not only by toxic assholes in my community, but by people that purposely take positions to interact with me that have a negative agenda, whether it be because I feel like the white community issue is this. You might mean well as a police officer, but then you got another police officer that strictly took this job just to fuck with me. You might mean well as a teacher, but then you got another white teacher that took this job strictly to tell me I'm stupid and I'm not going to be shit. And so whatchamacallit, what happens when I don't run it, when Jeff is not my teacher? What happens when one of Jeff's peers who may be racist is my teacher? And now for 16 years, all I have recorded in my mind is hateful and negative interactions with white people. Now it's over for everybody. I'm not going to try to say, well, man, that was just my 8th grade teacher. That was just my dentist. That was just my doctor. That was just, you know, the police officers that patrol my neighborhood. That was just the lady at the bank that make me feel insecure when I come to deposit a check. We're not going to sit here and record that shit. We just say, fuck, it's everybody. And so this is why these conversations need to be had, but this is why it has to be action, because this is the danger. And this is me being real. And I'm a peaceful person. I love peace. If some shit pop off in this country, right? If one day any people, it don't got to be black people, white people, it could be any people. If a specific community in this country say, fuck it, we about to riot. it's gonna be so many innocent people getting slaughtered and caught up in the bullshit because you never said nothing. So my message to the white community, if I'm able to give y'all a message, my message would be, y'all obligation is to check y'all peers, just like our obligation is to check our peers. Because black people, we don't all do illegal shit, but we don't all publicly denounce illegal activity. So if the FBI comes say we locking up this whole street, you don't get to say, oh, I wasn't gang banging, nigga. You was in the picture. They was next door. You never called 911. So technically, you didn't disapprove of it either. And so we have a job to say, you know what? I'm not denouncing my people. I was gang banging before, so I know how it can happen. It should just happen by accident. But we're not cleaning up our community, which means if somebody outside our community come to clean this bitch up, you technically don't have a say so.
Exactly.
Right. So it's the reverse with the white community. White people are not actively, and I'm not saying go fight your racist cousin, but white people are not actively letting the world know we don't agree with the shit this person is doing. We don't. You don't really hear white people talk about racism until after some racist shit happened, and then they say, yeah, that was fucked up. We don't agree. But where is that before it happens? Yeah. Just like same for us. Where is that?
Let me tell you when this became real to me.
Yes, sir.
This became real to me. I'm like you. I'm a researcher. I don't take anybody's word for nothing. I'm not like my friend Rex Bear says. I'm not a repeater. I'm a reporter. I go and I investigate shit.
Yes, sir.
And I was hearing, I'm thinking, why is this whole thing going on? I got friends that say I get pulled over just because I'm black. I'm like, is that really true? And I started doing some investigation. And this is no news to you, Pharaoh, but in the United States correctional community as a whole, blacks in this country, about somewhere south of 20% of the population, 17, 18, 19. You know the number of the percentage of population in the penal system of black folks?
Well,
87%.
Yes, I was going to say, and on top of that, 1/8 of all prisoners in the world are black, and 12% of the crimes. I mean, excuse me, only 12% of nonviolent. I mean, there's 12% of the crimes in America committed that are nonviolent by black people. Yet we make up 75% of the. I mean, we make up 86% of the damn prison population.
And see, the thing, the lie is that they tell from the white side to keep this thing going is, oh, well, that's because blacks commit 85% of the crime. So I went and started doing some research, and like you said, violent crime, it's less than 20% of it's created by black people. Right. And I'm going to say something that's bad, and I don't know how you feel about it, but
no, do your thing.
I do not respect Barack Obama for one damn reason. He was in there for 8 years, and he never did one fucking thing about this thing that we're talking about.
Now, Jeff, may you please repeat that for the people in the back, Jeff?
I'm saying that I do not respect Barack Obama for one damn reason, because he was the first black president of the United States, and he didn't say one damn word about why 85% of the penal community is populated by blacks when it's only 18% of the damn population, and say, ladies and gentlemen, something's wrong. Can we do better? Yes, we can. I didn't hear none of that shit coming from him.
Exactly. And you know why I respect you saying that? I've said it too. And you know why we both say that? Because we're not mindless zombies who are emotionally, influenced. We think, we research, and then we give our facts off of facts that we research. And so outside of the fact that Obama is what I call an elite puppet and he wasn't going to do shit anyway, it's about respect. If I'm let's flip the shoe. If I'm white and in America, if I'm black and I'm running America and I'm oppressing white people, and then white people get their first white president. If that white president don't speak on the fuck shit I'm doing, why would I respect that? I'm gonna look at him like, yeah, we did kill. See, because what y'all don't understand about Obama, right? And people hate Trump. And mind you, I believe all presidents are puppets. So I don't conform to anyone. But I fuck with Trump over Obama. And there's people that's gonna look at me and say, Pharaoh, why are you saying that on that white man platform? At least Trump, out of all of the strings that they got him attached to, at least he had the decency to say, black people built this country off slavery. Now, here's the thing. A white man who you assume is racist gave you more props than a nigga in the office. And when it comes to police brutality, coming back to the subject matter at hand, police kill more. I'm froze again, Jeff. You can still see me?
I hear. Yep.
Okay, perfect. As long as you can hear me, I'm good. Police killed more black people during Obama's presidency than any other presidency. So that just go to let you know they don't respect your shit. And while you remember when Obama was getting elected and they had the little puppets of motherfuckers getting hung with nooses in the store. So they was already letting Obama know we don't fuck with you and we don't respect your presidency. And so the reason I say that is because what people got to realize is we have this mentality, right, that religion has given us to be waiting on the external. So instead of you changing for you, you waiting on some outside force to come change you. And we have taken that subconscious template and applied it to everything, including the world. So people are looking at the world and we waiting for some magical talking trees to grow and change the world. When we as individuals change the world doesn't change individuals. And so it's up to the people, whether you're short, tall, black, white, Chinese, you're mixed because your parents got together and they were short, tall, black, white, and Chinese, whatever you are. It is our obligation as individuals to change the collective. The collective is not going to change the individual. And so I say that because we have so many psychological components and programs in our mind that people don't want to hear real shit. Jeff just said some real shit about Obama. Now, if I was egotistically driven, if I was emotionally manipulated, I would have told Jeff, don't you say that because he's black and you are. But I don't give a fuck. If it's true, it's true. Obama does not represent black culture in a pure form. Obama does not represent justice. Obama does not represent any values that a man that has any common sense would represent. So if another man, despite his race, says some shit that I'm thinking too, why would I play the race card and check that man when there's some real shit? And so I feel like these are the barriers that got to be snatched down so that we can come together, so that we can be able to say, you know what? This is disrespectful. This is not disrespectful. This is true. This is not true. And until we get some form of emotional maturity, we would never be able to have these conversations. And this is why I told you in the beginning, I'm so thankful that you even reached out to me to bring me on here, because like I said, this is bigger than people realize. I'm not saying me and Jeff we might, but I ain't saying we're going to contact some extraterrestrials and change the world tonight. All I'm saying is this shows the world that a jewelry wearing, tattoo having motherfucking felon could come together with a upper age or middle age white man, and we can talk some sense into y'all ass. And so that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Dangerous. And so this is what they don't want. And so, you know, this is why I'm going to keep going higher. You know, this is why I'm trying to show people how to be for your people and be for all people at the same time.
Let's talk about that. You're sitting in front of a banner that says "We Coming Back." What does that mean?
This means a lot of things. So I'll give you like three. One is the spiritual blueprint of black people. We can all agree that black people lost our way during slavery. We can pick any slavery, you know, whether it was the recent one, the European slave trade. And like I always tell people, the European slave trade was horrible. Okay. But Arabs started the slave trade. And so my issue with black people is I'm not mad that slavery happened because I'm still affected by it. But I'm not more mad at white people and less mad at Arabs. And so it's like, I don't understand why black people will say the white man, the white man, the white man. White people had a 500-year run. Arabs had a 2019-year run. They're still over there trading niggas today. So my thing is, even when we talk about religion, right? Becoming a Protestant. To become a Protestant was because you were a Protestant of the Catholic Church. And there was a time in Europe where the Pope at the time, I believe it was 1512 or 14 or something like that, there was a papal bull, and the Pope told the people of England, you are not engaging in the slave trade. And they said, nigga, fuck you. Everybody else making this money, shit, we about to get in on this money. And they got in on that money. So my thing is, even if you're a Protestant, aka a Protestant, understand what you were originally protesting. And the reason I say that, like I said, I'm not trying to dull slavery. Yes, it was bad. Yes, I still want my reparations. Yes, yes, yes. But my thing is, we need to be able to know why we're upset and what we're upset at. And I say that to bring it back here. Every individual person in a community needs to be for their community first, because it's about preservation of your species first. I would not tell an animal, oh, you the last, you know, for example, giraffes is on the extinction list. So I wouldn't tell giraffes, oh, you need to go worry about the bumblebee. Fuck them bumblebees. You need to make sure you straight, but have enough decency to know that everybody else in the animal kingdom has a right to live too. And so my thing is, I believe that Black people should worry about Black people, but at the same time, we should have decency. So me, and this comes to this is in conjunction with we coming back. Me wanting to study the culture of my ancestors, me wanting to study history that's not being taught to me in school, is for spiritual purposes. It's because as a white man, you have historical templates that you can read and be inspired by. You can go to the Greeks, you can go to the Spartans, you can go to the Vikings, you can go anywhere and say, my ancestors told some shit up, and it make you want to tear some shit up. That's what it's supposed to do. In inspiration, your inner spiral, your inner spirit. We don't have that. The first thing that I see is, damn, I was a slave. And then after that, damn, I was asking for equality. And then today, damn, I'm dribbling a ball. It's like, I don't know what I could be because I was never told. And
damn,
so,
that's profound. Yeah,
and so my thing is, I'm not trying to intimidate white people. I don't want white people to think that because I'm embracing the culture of my ancestors that I'm about to come kick your door. I don't give a fuck. My thing is, I just want to know where I came from like everybody else. And so when they say we coming back, that is not a violent statement. It is not a crazy statement. It's a spiritual statement. We coming back into what we was taken away from. And this shouldn't offend anybody. Because if I met a white person, right? Or you brought up adoption, because I don't believe nobody should adopt outside their race. That's how I feel, when I will explain why in a minute. You brought up adoption. If I adopted a white kid, I wouldn't teach that white kid Black history. Not in a weaponized. I would teach him his history. I would say, here's the Vikings, here's Norse mythology. You know what I'm saying? Here's Greek mythology. You go be great because you have a legacy that you got to carry on that's outside of me. You got to go out here, find you a white woman and build you a white family and continue your motherfucking legacy. That's your duty. And so my thing about being Black is we trying to remember our motherfucking legacy, let alone carry it on. And so when I say we coming back and people see this, or people see me embracing Black culture, I got the, you know, the pharaoh chain or the ring or the earrings. This is not to say I want to wage war on white America. I don't give a fuck with white America. As long as white America's not fucking with me, I don't care what y'all doing. No, it's just like LGBTQ. We not trying to attack transgenders. We just not trying to be attacked. And so white people, I believe, and I'm not saying all, because apparently me and you having this conversation, so that proves to the world it's not all. But for a good collective, you know, a good foundation of white people, I believe they need to stop being intimidated by Black people who don't want to listen to the shit y'all telling us to listen to in school. Y'all need to stop being intimidated if we don't want to agree psychologically with Western culture. It's not.
Hell, I don't want to listen to it either, brother.
Right. And so it's not to say that y'all right or wrong. It's just not ours. It's like when I tell white people I don't celebrate Christmas, they look at me like, you going to hell damn near. And it's like, listen, it doesn't matter if Santa Claus is real or not. My people didn't make it up. So I don't want to engage in it. You have that. I'll get you, I'll let you rock. I'm not gonna come burn your tree down. I'm just not putting one up. So this is what I mean by respecting individuality. And so this is what makes us great. For example, I'm not climbing no motherfucking Mount Everest. A white man will. So we need Jeff, okay? Because you might get to running from me. I'm gonna chase you down in the desert, but damn it, if you make it to motherfucking the Alps, Jeff got to come get you. And so, because I'm not coming up there. And so this is what makes us great as individuals. If people can say, you know what, I'm white. This is what makes me white. And I'm gonna be the best white motherfucker I could be. And I'm gonna say, this is what makes me Black. I'm a nigga, clearly. I'm gonna be the best nigga I could be. And where we merge and can take our individual cultures to a higher plane, that is what we should do. Other than that, trying to say, you know, wipe out Jeff's right to continue his legacy so that my legacy could stand. That's that egotistical, crazy shit I'm not with. And so I can build an empire without knocking yours down. And that's what people need to realize. People are afraid to let somebody else be great because they feel like they're gonna take from them. And I do music. So I'm gonna tell y'all, motherfuckers do this in music all the time. They could have the #1 selling album, but you can't get a feature because they're afraid if you feature on one single track, nobody's gonna listen to their album. When that's not true. It's just gonna be a hot ass track that you have with another hot ass rapper. It's not gonna take from you. And so, you know, the world has a big maturity lesson to relearn. And I say relearn because I thought y'all was taught this shit at 5 years old. I thought your mama told you to share at 5 years old, but apparently y'all must have fucking forgot the first shit you've ever learned, which was share and stop being an asshole. And so, like I said, I believe every race of people needs to clean their people up. I'm not white. I'm not here to tell white people what y'all should do because I would then be stepping outside of my jurisdiction. But I will say what I know needs to be done. Y'all need to check the people of y'all race that represent y'all in a way that y'all don't want to be represented. We need to check the people of our race that misrepresent us. And the reason that it's a folly is because our job is a little more harder because white people, all y'all have to do is argue with other white people. Black people, we got to argue with white people. I mean, black people and white people. So you just have to convince white people to stop doing certain things. I got to convince black people to stop doing certain things. And I got to convince white people to stop doing certain things. And most black people, I can't convince them unless I convince the white people first. Because most niggas don't want to hear nothing unless a white man's. It's so much shit I've said on this internet for 4 years, Jeff. Motherfuckers say I'm crazy. And then a Caucasian professor or something confirm it. And then they come right back and be like, oh, you was right. And it's like, well, damn, bitch, why I couldn't be right the first time? And so my thing is, black people, our job is a little bit more harder. But if everybody do what they supposed to do, it'll make everybody's job a little more easy.
Dude, what you just said, something pisses me off. You know, I'm from Florida. I lived in Orlando for a while. There's a town outside Orlando called Apopka. You know Apopka? Warren Sapp's from Apopka. Apopka is black. Apopka is probably 90% black. And there's a big ass church in Apopka, like 10,000 members, and their pastor's living in a great big old huge mansion. Their pastor's driving a bunch of great big cars. 90% of the congregation is black, and it's goddamn Paula White. All these black people giving all their money and all their time to this white woman. What is wrong with them? And I can't believe that you're telling me that people in the black community don't want to hear about their history. They don't want to hear about their heritage. And I don't have to be black to know that if I'm a black guy and I hear about the great civilizations of the past that were black, I hear about the powerful individuals of the past that were black, I hear about the warriors that were black, I hear about the inventors that were black. If I hear about my heritage and I'm proud of who I am, I'm going to be a better damn person. And I think better damn people make a better damn world. And I can't believe that you are having trouble getting people to accept that. And if there's anything I can do to help you, you let me know.
Listen, I appreciate that, Jeff. And I extend the same hand. You know, if anything anything you could do, I could do to help you, let me know. And I think if we start doing one thing I wanted to start doing, but I wanted to make sure the person I interact with was safe. I think we should start doing public events.
Dude, I'm down for it. And let me tell you something that's weird that you won't this. We didn't talk about this. I was a Christian, I'm not anymore. And I spent my first 2 years in the Church of God in Christ. You know what that is?
I've heard of it, but I'm not too.
Church of God in Christ, largest Pentecostal church in the world, 99.99999% black. I'm probably the only white dude you ever know I had a fight with the KKK because I'm preaching at a black church and they come up and I had to actually fight the damn KKK. And I'm sitting there on the platform one night and this preacher comes in, doesn't know I'm there. He says, I'm glad there's no white people here tonight. And I didn't have to say nothing. Everybody says, brother, you got it. There's a white man up here. But the point of the matter is that I have been to the place where I hung out mainly with black people for a long time, a couple of years. And as hard as it is for some white people to believe, black people got some damn good ideas. Black people got some strengths. Black people got some weaknesses. And could we separate and just be white people over here, black people over there? Yes, we could. But my fear is that we would lose some of the strengths and some of the distinctiveness that black folks can bring to the mix that white folks just can't do.
I agree.
And white folks can bring some strengths to the mix that black folks just don't have. And if we could get this thing together and stop fighting with each other, man, who knows what we could do?
That's right. And it comes down to what I said. I believe I said this off the camera. People want an enemy. They create one.
Because you know what they don't want, Pharaoh? They don't want fucking responsibility. They want somebody else to blame.
That's right. They want somebody to say, you the reason why I didn't do what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you're white, the reason you ain't doing what you're supposed to do ain't because of somebody that's black. And if I may say so, you correct me if I'm wrong. If you're black, the reason you ain't doing what you're supposed to do ain't because of somebody that's white.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
And the reason I say to a certain extent is because in our individual lives, yes. But in society, no, true. But I just, I want to clear it up for anybody that's watching so that we can always be transparent.
Yeah, exactly. And I had one thing to say about transparency after you're done. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. And so with that being said, the reason I say that is because systematic racism is actually really true. For example,
is it getting better?
Fuck no, it's getting worse.
Okay.
It's getting worse because I'm gonna tell you why it's getting worse before I continue my point.
Okay.
It's getting worse because these motherfucking, these elite people. I'm gonna try to watch my mouth. This ain't on my channel. I get fly, but this is not my channel, so I'm always. I know you
say what you want to say.
Okay, listen, these fuckers, right? These blood drinking ritual elite motherfuckers that run this music industry. They are in the television industry. They are successfully, they are successful in their psychological warfare agenda on my community. And so black people are not becoming more virtuous. We're not becoming more moral. We're becoming way more fucking. We was better when I couldn't drink at your water fountain. We was better people. Today, woo, we got some of the most ignorant, toxic motherfuckers. And the more stupider you are, you get a TV show. The more crazier shit you talk about, you get a record deal. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because systematic racism is worse because white America is looking at us like, who the fuck just walked in here? That's basically how y'all looking. If you're not already listen, Jeff, if you're not racist, watch BET for 1 year straight. You're going to be racist. You know why? Because I wouldn't let them niggas in my house. So I know you wouldn't let them niggas in your house, Jeff. And so this is why systematic racism is getting worse, because the media is successfully distorting the image of my community by taking the worst that we have to offer and showing them as successful icons. And so when we come out of our community and we come amongst y'all, this is all y'all have ever seen of us. Could you imagine, right? If for example, when you watch Jerry Springer, and I love Jerry Springer. I'm not gonna lie. That's all I used to watch as a kid was Jerry Springer. When you watch Jerry Springer, one thing Jerry Springer doesn't do is make you think that all white people are like that. You know why? Because Jerry Springer represents himself like he got some fucking sense.
He does.
We don't have no black people that's on a massive scale that represent himself or herself like he got some sense. Because we afraid. Because if we do, we gonna lose that check. Well, they afraid. I don't give a fuck. But with that being said, so could you imagine if I took every low IQ'd white individual from Jerry Springer and gave him a fucking record deal, gave him Loving Hip Hop, if it was Loving Suburb or Loving Trailer Park, and this is all I showed white people about themselves was the worst that y'all have to offer versus the best. Then, and I showed this to black people. Every time y'all came amongst us, I would be like, oh, that's Redneck Joe. Like, I wouldn't even give you a shot. I would already be assuming that you are who I synced you as. And what makes it worse, what makes it work is not the man behind the camera, but the nigga in front of the camera. And they don't realize how much damage they're doing, not just to the world, but specifically our youth. Because you basically telling black kids, you have to act like you don't got no motherfucking sense in order to make a living. And so kids say, well, the more crazier I act, the more outlet. Like, I remember when women would hint at sexual things. Now they just write on the song like, girl, run a train on me and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, damn, like the music is just like.
The girls in the club dancing to that shit. I'm like, what? Do you listen to the words?
Apparently the fuck not, Jeff. And so.
Not like I'm up in the club all the time, but I heard that's how it goes.
Yeah, so listen, I'm just saying, so. This is why systematic racism is getting worse, because the image of black people are getting worse because listen, Jeff, I don't give a fuck how racist you are. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Nobody can do something to you that you don't allow. So,
but we're stupid enough to believe it. White people are stupid enough to believe it. We don't go out of our house and talk and interact with any real black people. We think everybody that's black, we see them come in, we think it's these people that is on TV.
True,
and it's our fault.
But it's also, and I gotta be real if we're gonna solve the issue. It's also a fear thing, Jeff. Because
that's why we cross the street.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Jeff. Even on YouTube, I don't know how far back you went in my YouTube. If you go back far enough in my YouTube, you're gonna have to call me again and be like, hey, what the fuck? Because I was on fire. Listen, when I first got on YouTube, I didn't know I could monetize my channel. So imagine my mouth for the first year. I'm not worried about monetizing. I was going ham, but I was fresh out of prison. I was still oozing with being a victim of racism. And I didn't give a fuck. And I'm not saying I take back anything I said at all.
Yep.
But what I want to say is my experience in the world, actually studying Freemasonry, actually studying who owns what, and expanding my research has allowed me to blossom into the mature person I am. And the reason I say that is because everybody else is not fortunate enough to get where I am mentally. So if you come out your community and you come into mine, you gonna run into a motherfucker that don't want to hear nothing about no white man at all. And I can't really say I blame them because this is what they've experienced all their life. And so this is why.
How many times you got to get bit by a dog before you start saying, I don't want to be around no damn dogs?
Right. It's like when Muhammad Ali said he's not gonna figure out which snake is not trying to bite him if he sees some snakes. And so taking that analogy, the snakes is gonna have to start checking the other snakes, or they can't be mad when we shut the door on everybody. And so my thing with white people is this, right? Especially since I'm on this platform, I'm gonna say this. You can say you don't agree with something at all, but if you don't stop it, you guilty by association. It's
How
like,
do we stop it? How do we go about stopping it, Pharaoh?
It's some things I can say and it's some things I can't say.
You can say anything you want right here, right now. I'm looking for some real motherfucking help.
Oh, we need to turn this bitch up then. That's what we need to do. That's what I think everybody that's a gorilla. We need to get on and do what gorillas do. And so I feel like we all that voting, all that, fuck all that. We pass all that. I think everybody need to say, let's tear down the foundation so the top come down here. So what white people need to do is white people need to say, listen, we are tired of racism. Okay, we support police. If we see you being racist, we will stop you at whatever means that need to be done. And I think black people need to do the same thing. We tired of dumbass, ignorant shit. And if we see some dumbass, ignorant shit, we will stop you by any means necessary. And so whatever you think by any means necessary mean, that's what the fuck it means. And so
well, you know, at this point, it could just mean instead of walking on by when you see 5 white cops beating on a black guy, it might be time to just stop and say, officers, he's down. Stop. That might be a start.
Not even
on
that.
Your fucking phone and tape it. That might be a start.
Yeah, listen, not even that, because y'all do that already.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, people see police, and I don't want to make this specifically about the police because I don't want I don't want people to think that me and Jeff is saying, you know, take what we saying and weaponize it against law enforcement.
No, we're not saying that.
What I'm saying is, if you an evil person, I just use words like evil. If you see evil, you must stop evil. That's all. Right. We're not saying fuck the police. I might need to call 911 one goddamn day. And so I don't have the resources they have. I'm not saying fuck the police. What I'm saying is fuck the motherfuckers that take the job and they got a wicked intent. And so you is the motherfucker that need to be stopped by any means necessary. And so my thing is, I feel like white people, y'all have to put the same work in that we willing to put in. And if y'all don't, because my thing is this, I'm black, Jeff. I'm black.
I noticed that.
I could love white people all day. I could get along with y'all all day. But if my people say we ready to get it popping, I got to ride with my people. So I say that to let y'all know the seriousness of this. Me and Jeff could be friends all day.
How close are we to that in your estimation?
Shit, we getting damn close. In real. Well, I'm gonna tell you why we getting damn close. When the AI gets introduced, the AI is being introduced. In the next 4 to 5 years, it should be completely here. The first people that's losing them jobs is black people. Us.
Ooh, good point.
We the first ones lose all the little fast food restaurant, Chick-fil-A jobs, and you know what I mean? Motherfucker get out of jail, go do construction, all that shit about to be gone. So we done. And so we hungry now. We about to get hungrier in a minute. And so the little bit of restraint that we have, you know what I'm saying, as far as on the world, you don't know how, I'm not saying me, because I'm not in that position, but
right.
that's in that position, you don't know somebody's psychological snapping point. So they say by 2053, the Black community's wealth totality will be zero, if not in the negatives. Right now, we only you know, have a stake in 0.77% of the wealth in the world. Fuck the country, the world. So we X'd out. We financially ostracized. And so when artificial intelligence come up in this motherfucker, you basically telling me I got to starve to death. And we all know what happened when you push any animal. I don't give a fuck if it's a lion or a house cat. You put it in a corner, see what it do. And so by white America ignoring systematic racism, you are ignoring a bubbling pot. That's what you're doing. And when motherfuckers introduce the shit that cut the jobs, y'all not realizing y'all cutting our jobs. And so what happens when Black people say, you know what? Time to turn this bitch up because I have no other way. I've marched. You told me to march? I marched. You told me to vote? I vote. You told me to get a job? You gave the bitch to a robot. So now what you telling me to do? Because now this is when your reptilian brain, this is just genetics. Yeah. You can't override genetics. This is fucking genetic. Your reptilian brain is going to tell you survival, fight or flight. So when you wake up one day and you say, damn, I can't sell weed because they doing that legally now. I can't.
Oh, shit. Are you saying that maybe legalized weed is an attack on the Black community?
Yeah, y'all fucked us up with that. That's how we
damn, that's real, isn't it?
If it wasn't for weed,
the light just went on.
Jeff, if it wasn't for weed, I wouldn't have had school closed, Jeff. So y'all look at, y'all, not saying you, but y'all might look at it like them niggas is selling weed. We can't get no job. Over 50% of Black people that graduate with masters, we 2 times less is likely to get the job. So
why?
Because we Black. Because on the application, your shit say Jeff such and such, my shit say Tyrone Johnson. I'm not getting a motherfucking job.
That's really true. You're telling me as a man-to-man, honest, that's true shit right there.
Bro, listen, Jeff, that's true. I don't do no cat. That's true. That's so. Listen, Jeff, I filled out probably at least 60 job applications when I first got out of prison. I ain't get no fucking job. And it wasn't because I couldn't do it. It's because somebody else was more favorable than me. Listen, I fight, Jeff. My last 4 fights, one of them judges is racist because I come out with the unk on. I come out looking Black. This bitch give me 30-27 every fight, which means I haven't won one, according to that score, I haven't won 1 round in my last 4 to 5 fights. That's 3 times 4, that's 12 rounds. So that means the last 12 rounds I've ever fought in my life, I haven't won a round. Anybody that look at any of my fights, no, I win the first 2 rounds, and if not the first round guaranteed I don't even get hit the first round. And so my thing is, we are running into racist brick walls everywhere we go. And if after one of these fights, if I tell one of them judges, right, let's say my next fight I get robbed, right? If after one of them fights, if my anger point boils up because I'm out here basically getting punched in the face for no reason. So if my anger point builds up and I say, you racist motherfucking cracker, you gonna look at me like I'm wilding. When really it's like, God damn, can I just get, I don't even expect white people to treat me fair at this point in time. But I'm just saying, can I get treated fair, bitch? If I'm coming here to fight like everybody else, can I get a decent scorecard? And so my thing is, I'm not saying this because I expect white people to pity me, because I'm a man. I don't expect no man to pity no man. You know, the Marines don't make Marines by saying, can you please climb that rope? They say, get your bitch ass up that rope, maggot. That's what they, so I don't expect no man to pity me because he's gonna be doing me a disfavor. I just want white people to know that this shit is very real. And there is not an area of my life where I can go and it's not racist. If I go to the bank, motherfucker, listen, Jeff, I go to the bank to take money out, the bitch go get the manager, Jeff. Your bitch go get the manager. I swear to, I'm not making this up. I put this on my ancestor. I go to get money out the bank. If the teller is white, sometimes the bitch go get the manager. Or if I call and I be like, yo, can you make my motherfucking balance? You know, can you make my spending balance 2,000 for the day, 1,000 for the day? Wait a minute, we got to get permission from them. How the fuck you got to get permission from a motherfucker for me to spend my money? How you got to do that? And so if we spend too much money, I didn't got pulled over, Jeff, and they say I had too much money. They'll try to take your money and say it's drug money. And so
they will do that in Florida, whether you black or white. I mean, if the law is, I know some white people got their money taken too, but I know it's probably more black people.
Right, definitely. And so, you know, I ride with my motherfucking business card. Just in case I can be like, look, this is how I can afford this car. Here's my shit. Please leave me alone. And my thing is, you know, by white America, before I pass the mic back, by white America being so passive by the shit that their peers do, specifically systematic racism, that's what needs to change. Individual racism doesn't need to change because we don't live next to each other.
I just lost your sound.
Okay, perfect. 1 second.
You're back.
Okay. Individual racism doesn't need to change. The KKK doesn't need to change. Because I don't live by the KKK. I'll never run into your ass. What needs to change is systematic racism. I can't get a home loan. My insurance is higher because of my zip code. Black women get treated worse in hospitals. I can't educate my kids in my own history and science. So systematic racism, you can be racist. I don't give a fuck. Be racist. But all I'm saying is, can I get a loan the way you get a loan? God damn. And so if you want to just be a racist motherfucker who don't like black people, I don't even mind. All I'm saying is, can I get a fair shot in this country like everybody else? Because if I get denied that shot, what you think I'm going to do? Starve to death and die? I'm going to look at my kids and say, listen, son, we starving to death because white people gave robots.
You had to use this Glock.
Yeah. It's like white people gave robots our jobs, but I still have to be peaceful. Like, hell no, motherfucker, we not starving. And so my thing is, what I want white people to do is stop ignoring systematic racism. If y'all really feel that racism is something that's an issue, let's destroy it in the system. You can be, I don't care if you got 15 pictures of some niggas hanging in your house. I don't care. I don't come to your house. But when black people, you know, go to apply for car insurance, can I pay the same shit you pay? When I go to the bank to get a house, you got motherfuckers with 750 to 850 credit scores getting denied for home loans, straight up. And so this is for real. And so when white people say, go get a job, we got jobs. When white people say, go get education, we got an education, but we can't do nothing with it because y'all won't allow us to. And so now you have, you know, y'all haven't allowed us to do shit with it. And then now you finna give this shit away to a fucking robot. And so it's just like, what the fuck is we supposed to do?
What can Jeffrey Daugherty and what can the 900 people listening to this do themselves individually? Now, here's something, and I'm going to say this as we brought up President Obama, and we talked a little bit about Trump. I remember watching Trump during the, and this is one of the reasons why I voted for him. During the campaign, he was given a speech, and I think he was at Trump Tower. He's given this speech, and this lady asked a question. And he's like, that was a very thoughtful question. Why are you here today? And she goes, well, I'm here to apply for a job. And he says to her, somebody give me her resume. He gets her resume. He looks at it and he asks her, what job was you applying for? And he goes, oh, no, that won't do. He says, come up here. And it happened to be a black woman. And he says, I know she's applying for this job, but no, we're going to put her in at that personal assistant job with me. That's Donald Trump, billionaire. He can do that shit. What can Jeffrey Daugherty, not billionaire, do?
Well, the only thing that me and you can do is what is within our power and is what is in alignment with our passion. Because what everybody can do, I don't believe personally, is what everybody should be doing. Like everybody could be on the internet trying to teach. I don't think everybody should try that though. And so what I would say is the same thing I would say to you is the same thing I would say to myself. Put the pressure on our personal community and hold the mirror up to our personal communities to see if change is something that's really in their heart. Mm-hmm. And
you know, one thing, Pharaoh, and I'll take the mic here for a second. One thing, some of us is pissed off.
Yes.
Some of us is pissed off because in this world today, you can put a sign up there that says we coming back. You can talk about bringing black people back, Black Lives Matter, Black Power, be proud of your race, and Oprah will invite you on. If I get up here with a sign beside me that says white power, we coming back, let's talk about white people, let's be strong white people, let's be proud white people, they'll put me next to David Duke.
Now let me iterate on that.
Okay, please.
Oprah will not invite me on because Oprah doesn't have black people's best interest at hand.
That's true. So, I wouldn't say that, but I'm glad you.
So Oprah is a fucking elite puppet, and she damn sure don't speak for me. And so my thing is, This is why I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah. And you know what else pisses us off, Pharaoh, since we're into it? Why is it okay to have black entertainment TV? But could you imagine white entertainment TV? Black Grammy Awards. Could you imagine white Grammy Awards? It would burn.
Exactly. And my thing is, if we are going to have individual stations, let the individual be the owner of the station.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, if we have white entertainment television, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's morally right for me to start that. And then to tell y'all, what about y'all? I'm going to show y'all. I think that that's morally incorrect. So it's a double-edged sword, because it's like we kind of do and we kind of don't. But on both ends of the sword, the fact is still, once again, systematic racism. White people own that shit. And y'all choose to show us what y'all want us to see about us. And coincidentally, the shit you show is some of the worst shit you can show at any point in time. I remember one time they had a fucking baby boy marathon for like a month. And I'm like, damn, they playing this movie every night for a month of a nigga cheating on this girl, all kind of crazy shit. And it's like, this is what y'all want us to see about us. Like, this is the highest, basically, in the black community, right? And I'm not lying, because I felt this way personally before. I was lost before I was found. The best thing that most youth, I'm not talking about no 30-year-old, 40-year-old person I'm talking about the average 16, 17-year-old young man or woman from my community right now. The best thing that we think we could be is a rapper, a drug dealer, a sports player, or if you're a female, a stripper, or now they got stripper rap. So now you can be a rapper too. And so we don't have nothing outside of that, because that's all we being shown. Yeah, and so it's like, BET is not going to call me and say, Pharaoh, do a video about African Egyptians and how they were vegans and how they didn't eat meat and how they were peaceful. They're not going to call me and say, Pharaoh, do a video about the black Indians who didn't eat meat. And when the winter time,
are you vegetarian?
Yes, I am. And so, right. And so they're not going to say, do a video or do a segment on BT about black Indians who didn't eat meat, and they felt so bad about eating meat during the wintertime that they didn't waste any part of the animal. Because a lot of people will say the Indians didn't waste the animal, but they don't tell you why. And it's because we actually value life to the point where if we had to take it, we would make sure that you, even on the scale of an animal, we wasn't wasting your life. And people might say, well, why is that important? Because that counters the imagery of the fact that people think we don't value life. So at least if you're going to have a music video that say, I'm living savage and I shoot the whole block up and kill your mama, let the next video be, hey, we love plants. Hey, we love animals. Balance the shit the fuck out. But we don't have a balance. Everything you see about black people is either over-sexualized, super violent, or it's over-sexualized and super violent. And so we don't have a balance. And so that's why I feel like, even though BET can say it's for black entertainment, that has nothing to do with black people. That's programmed baby MK Ultra kids playing on TV and sending out the worst fucking frequencies you could send out, not only to y'all, but it hurts us more because we telling our up and coming generations, this is what the fuck you have to be successful. And so this is why I go out here. Yeah.
And you know, and I don't know if Chris Rock is good or bad in this realm or not, but something he said one time that I wondered about, it just hit me, the reality of it. He said, the problem right now is that we got rich black people, but we don't got wealthy black people. He said, let me explain the difference between rich and wealthy. Shaq is rich. The guy that owns a team that signs Shaq's check is wealthy. And there's not enough wealthy black people for young black men to say, oh shit, I can make it. I do have a shot.
Right. You know what? I agree with that, but here's why I disagree.
Okay.
Wealth is not something that black people should try to aspire to have in a certain aspect. And this is what I mean. We didn't create money. Y'all did.
Yep.
So we don't have the obligation to live by that. Niggas didn't create banks and coins and shit like that. That's come from Greco-Roman code.
We don't want to live by that shit either.
Exactly. And so here's the point. Even with Chris Rock saying that, he's still sending out the wrong message, which is to be a slave to the elite.
Chris Rock is still getting paid.
Listen, I'm just saying this right now again. if you are not talking about utilizing 0 point energy, free energy, you should shut the fuck up giving public speeches. We don't need money, assholes. We have enough technology. There's enough energy in a, this is a cubic centimeter of space for all you assholes at home. You see this? This is a cubic centimeter of space. It's enough energy there to boil all of the waters in the ocean on this globe in a fucking coffee mug. You don't need money. So
Pharaoh, if we get rid of money, then, because I've got this thing in my head, it's not really against black people or against white people. It's against people that, it's people that got the money against people that don't got the money. And if there wasn't no money,
listen, if it wasn't no money, half these motherfuckers running their mouth wouldn't have shit to say, because you don't have nothing internally to even be loved for. Most of these people on TV, I don't care what race you are, most of these celebrities is a piece of shit. So the only thing you got to fall back on is I'm getting money. If you see most celebrities getting exposed, and I'm gonna bring it back to my community, most rappers, when they be like, yo, this rapper did this, the rapper don't apologize, the rapper don't show any moral compassion. He just say, I'm getting money, I don't give a fuck. So basically it's just like, you can be a piece of shit bitch ass coward, but as long as you look like you getting money, it don't matter. And I want to say this about wealth too. It's impossible for black people to achieve any wealth. And I'm gonna say this, Jeff, I don't know if you heard me say it in another video, I'm gonna say it now. All of the resources, we all know, there's no secret, are being taken out of Africa, okay? And this is very sentimental to me, because you got children over there getting their arms chopped the fuck off if they refuse to. It's brutal, so that we can have a bum ass cell phone.
Yeah,
we could have had a cell phone without all of that. And so here's the thing: all of the industry and manufacturing, foundations are in European or non-black countries. And so here's the thing: it doesn't matter if black people started supporting black businesses all around this country. It don't matter if we stop fucking with Gucci. It don't matter if we stop spending any money with any white people, because we are not in the club and we are not owners of the manufacturing industry. So it don't matter if black people start buying clothes from each other and say, fuck them all, because we still got to come to y'all to make the motherfuckers. So the more money that we make is the more money that y'all make, even if we stop fucking with y'all. And so here's where it really come down. If we gonna deal with wealth, the conversation really is, what happens if black people say, you know what? White people get out of Africa. Fuck Apple, fuck all that. This ours. Now y'all gonna look at us like, well, what we supposed to do, starve? Because technically, even though it is wrong, we is making our money off this. And so it's a lot of moral dilemmas that can be easily fixed if we have this conversation. I'm mature enough to say, Jeff, your ancestors came over here and they savagely conquered, and they did what the fuck they had to do. And I was here first. You're here now. What we gonna do, Jeff? We gonna make this shit work, or we gonna go to war again? That's just a real conversation. We gonna make this motherfucker work, or is we gonna fight again? Now listen, even though you took my shit, I'm willing to share my shit if you act right. But if not, we can fight. That's what it comes down to. It's not no black people need to get a job. It's not. The system is built off of us. That's what it is. The more successful we become, the more successful those elites become. And even though it's not Jeff, the elites are still white. So I still have to say white people, or I will be doing my people a disservice.
Is there really no black elites?
Well, when we talk about Freemasonry and British Freemasonry and Scottish Freemasonry and European Freemasonry, they're going to let a couple niggas in the club, because they need them niggas to make us think that, we can be certain things too. But the power structure is ran by them little bit of white people. And so it's like Oprah. Like Oprah makes black women feel like they could be billionaires too, and you don't need no man. Like Oprah's message is totally toxic. If you are a black woman who follow Oprah, Oprah is going to convince you to destroy your household. You don't need no man. She's going to convince you to be very materialistic and pursue money your entire life. And she makes it look like you can actually do it. And you don't know behind the scenes she's getting paid to give you this mess. That's not some realistic shit. Every gender needs the other gender. It's shit for I can't call Jeff and cry and be like, yo, Jeff, man, this shit been on my mind. Jeff gonna hang the fucking phone up. So I gotta call my woman for that. So this Oprah is like one of the most toxic forms of black women that you could try to follow. But people love fucking money so much, they don't look at the total view of what she represents. And so bringing it back to the wealth, it's impossible for black people to achieve wealth because we're not in a state of individuality. We are merged with the people that are benefiting from us. So it's like basically we in a parasite relationship with America. And it might not be you specifically, but it's a parasite relationship. Why do niggas go to jail? Because they need to make money off of jail. So sometimes, nigga, you gonna go to jail for some shit you didn't do. Now, you can't blame Jeff for that, but the person that put you in the situation does look like Jeff. And so it's Jeff's responsibility to say, hold the fuck up. Wait a minute. Chill. And I think that, I'm not gonna say a thing. I know that if everybody want to solve this issue, everybody want to not worry about their families, everybody want to not worry about a race war breaking out this bitch.
We either solve it or we're going to fight a race war.
That's just what the fuck is going to happen.
Sooner rather than later, probably.
Yeah, I agree. And so
now, let me ask you a question, Pharaoh. Would you invite me over to your house for dinner?
If you ate what I ate, and it would depend. Like you,
I'm vegetarian too, man.
Listen, it would depend on were you saying you specifically or just a random white person?
I'm me.
You specifically could come. But I'm not gonna lie, I just don't be.
We hang out, you and me.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie. I have a hard time trusting white people. I'm not gonna lie.
We know each other an hour and a half ago.
To a certain extent.
But what I'm getting at is how the hell can we, if you and me can get to this place, how the hell do we get other black folks and other white folks to this place? Because we either are gonna, the system has to be burned the fuck down and started over, and we got to work together and figure this shit out, or we are gonna be fighting each other.
Well, we gotta work on our own people, Jeff, because I can't. The reason that I will fuck with you is because I trust that you would say some real shit to your own people when I'm not present. So I can trust you. You can trust me. You can trust me that if you see me walking up the street with some white kids, I'm not abusing them. I'm not doing no crazy shit. I'm not gonna let nobody else abuse them if they with me. And so I can trust the way you carry yourself when I'm not watching. That's why I will fuck with you. And so the question to the how is we got to talk to our own people. I can't come to the white community and say, y'all motherfuckers, some of y'all racist. Because they're going to look at me and the first thing they're going to do is they're going to rebut. And they're going to say, well, y'all criminals and whoop-de-whoop. So it's not the motherfucker outside you got to change. It's the person in the mirror. Since you are white, only you can change white people. Since I am black, only I can change black people. And so I think we need to swallow that pill. And when you study whatchamacallit, neurocardiology, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the science of how your heart talks to your brain. And I'm going somewhere with this. People don't know that your heart got brain cells. It got tissues in there that allow it to not only think, but remember. And you can actually die from a broken heart. It's called cardiomyopathy because you remember with your heart. Your heart talks to your brain and your brain talks to the duration of your body via your nervous system. So your heart actually is your primary brain. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because in order to change the way you think, you got to change the way you feel. And so who has a better chance at changing the psychology of the white community? A white man, because only you can penetrate the heart of other white men. I can't do nothing but harden the heart or make them want to defend the way they feel. You can't come to the community, Jeff, and say gang banging and drugs is wrong. Because the first thing they're going to say is, well, you brought the motherfuckers in the community. Now you checkmated. Because technically, even though it wasn't you, it was true. And so it's up to me to say that. It's up to me to say, bitch, I don't give a fuck who brought this shit over here. It's going in the garbage. Only I could change the heart of my people. And so this is why I say it takes the best of the best from every community to, if we can't change our people, publicly distance ourselves from whatever behavior we don't want to be associated with and fuck with each other. And this is why I created what you call being pro-righteous, because when I stepped away from being pro-black, it was by no means to say that I'm not for my people, but what it was the message was, I'm not going to associate with toxic black people just because you telling me we both black. I'm not going to fuck with Louis Farrakhan or the Nation of Islam just because you telling me I'm black. Because you got people that DM me and be like, listen, you shouldn't blow them up in public because y'all black. Like, and I would just respond and say, okay, well, you shouldn't tell police. Where's the good police? if you see the bad police, because you basically telling me to do the same shit that you complain to them for doing. So my thing is, the pro-righteous movement is for people that's just for a righteous frequency. If you got a positive frequency in your heart, you believe, not believe, you know and can see like anybody else with fucking eyes. Chemtrails shouldn't be in the sky. Fluoride shouldn't be in the water. And people just deserve basic fucking resources. Then I can fuck with you. Anything else, I don't want nothing to do. I don't want nothing to do with no agendas, no organizations, none of that shit. I'm not with none of that Black Lives Matter, LG. I'm not with none. I'm just want to deal with decent fucking people that will acknowledge it's something wrong with the world, and as individuals do what they can to change it. I'm not saying go outside and bomb some shit. I'm just saying do what you can. For example, I don't eat meat not only for the health benefits, but because I believe animals deserve a life too. And I don't think that's you should slaughter somebody's mother, because to us it's a asshole, it's an animal. But in an actual fabric of consciousness, this somebody mama, this somebody aunt. So just because we don't speak the language our dogs speak, don't mean they don't feel pain and shit that they're sentient beings for a reason. So I don't think that I should be slaughtering somebody's mama because I'm coming from the club at 2 in the morning and I want a fucking chicken sandwich from McDonald's. And so, you know, people just had that much compassion. If we could just say, wait a minute, it's not that I'm eating food because I have to, certain foods, I'm eating them because I want to. Can you stop being a selfish bitch for a second and just do what you need to do so that every other aspect of life can thrive? Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, well, that might be a key there. If we stop eating animals and start having compassion for the animals, maybe we'd start having compassion for one motherfucking another.
Man, listen, Jeff, everything I've said before I've ever met you, you saying it. And I always tell people, have you ever seen a vegan on trial for murder? No, you have not.
Never have.
Now, I'm not saying there hasn't been any. I'm just saying I haven't. You know why? Because that small step and why they became vegan has transcended and affected every other aspect of their life. So it's like, for example, if you see me wearing a fur, you best believe that motherfucker fake. And I don't have no problem saying it.
Because it goes back to, what was it? Method Man said, free your ass and your mind will follow.
That's right. That's right. And so, so I feel like if people just had a small aspect of compassion for something, it would go everywhere. Like I think gardening should be something that's mandatory.
It might be taught in school.
Yeah, and it might be something that seems stupid, but imagine if you was taught to care for a life form, because a plant is a life form, whether some of y'all want to accept it or not. The time that you put in water in this plant, making sure it get light, and just making sure it grow to be the beautiful plant it was meant to be, that shit will transcend into other areas of life, to where you run into a kid, you run into a teen, you run into an adult, and you have that same growing compassion as you do with the plant. And so when we look in today's world, we're not even interacting with nature to develop natural foundations of compassion, let alone half the shit outside not even real. We
don't even step on the grass with our feet. They're cutting us off from the earth to cut us off from each other.
Exactly. And if people want to understand the science of that, what Jeff just said, to make a long story short, anybody that's ever did any kind of electrical work, or if you was in school and you have vocationals like me, you know that rubber, okay, does not allow, it basically acts like a stopper to electricity without me going all the way into the scientific field. And so that being said, you have rubber in the bottom of your shoe. They call it the soles of your shoe.
Ooh, the soul.
That's right, because this is where you input solar frequency from the planet Earth. And then not only do you got rubber on the bottom of your shoe, aka the sole of your shoe, you on top of concrete. And we know that concrete stops electrons as well as photons and protons via penetration. And so what a lot of people don't know is every time you take a step on the earth, you actually absorb electrons. And electrons, out of all of the other characteristics and faculties that they display, they act as natural antidepressants. If you don't believe me, this is why you take a vacation, asshole. This is why when you go to the beach, you feel better, asshole. Because you're walking barefoot on the earth and it's doing what it was meant to do. And so the way that they got society set up is no different than the way you set up your fish tank. Fake shit that don't allow you to operate the way you were supposed to. And you go to the zoo and you look at the lion and you see the fake speakers and the fake trees. And then you leave the zoo and you don't know you in the fake world. You think you're in the real world. Yeah, you in the fake ass world. Go ahead, Jeff.
Do we need to have separate homelands for black people and white people?
It depends. And the reason I say that is because I don't believe that answer is up to black people. That answer is up to white people.
If we had a vote today, would most black people say, yeah, give us some shit and you take some shit and we'll go
hell no, hell no. And the reason I say that, well, a dumbass black person would say that. They would. And that's because if you don't know your history, you would say that. The reason I say that is because black people have been all around this planet since day one. So there is nowhere on the planet we could go and technically not be home. So we don't need to go any motherfucking where. The question, the truth is everybody else came to where the fuck we was at. And so the real answer is white people. If you gonna come where nobody invited you, can you be peaceful? That's the real question. The answer, that question is not really for black people to answer. That question is for white people to answer. Can white people be peaceful where they came without a fucking invitation? And so if they can, maybe we could have harmony. If y'all cannot, then the shit gonna be what we see it fold into. And so, you know, this is, like I said, that question is not, I don't have to wake up and say, white people go over there, I'm gonna go over here. I was already everywhere. The thing is, you came over here and shit has changed. And so can we today live peacefully? And that answer is up to the heart of non-black people and how everybody else feel about us. So that's, you know, that's the realest answer I could give for that question.
What do you feel the chances are? Do you think it's coming to race war, or do you think it's coming to peace and harmony, or do you think it's coming to we better separate the shit before we start killing one another?
It's coming to both. I think within the hearts of the people, we waking up, but we don't have the power to show the world that because we don't own mainstream media. And so me and you can have this conversation all day, but that don't mean a rapper is not going to get on TV and say, fuck the white man as a whole. That don't mean a white man is not going to get on TV and say, lock the whole black community up as a whole. And so this is why platforms like ours are so important, because we're not small, but we're not fucking CNN. But we do our diligence to let people know we don't agree with that narrative. And so what we're going to have to do is stop supporting idols or celebrity figures, especially niggas. Talking to niggas now. Act like Jeff ain't even. I'm talking to niggas. Y'all niggas is gonna have to stop supporting these stupid ass. And I don't want to say education as far as school. I'm gonna just say education as far as common sense. Motherfuckers that have no common sense and they just blind and using money to convince you to throw your life away and convince your kids to throw your life away. Stop listening to them. And so what it's gonna take is it's gonna take for the people of every community to stop listening to bigger media outlets in regards to how they're being told to think. And so if the people can do that, then a change in frequency and positivity can happen. And I'll tell you why this is important and why I'm saying this, Jeff. Let's say we all live in harmony, right? Let's say we throw a black and white barbecue, fuck it, right? Let's say we just try to be funny and we inviting white people to the barbecue and me and you let's say we bring out 1,000 people, right? What happens when the media purposely shows some racist shit that day?
Oh,
what happens? See, I'm a Virgo with a capital V. I got hella for. What happens when the media says, and they not only do they show some racist shit, they show some crazy shit like police beat the shit out of a motherfucking 8-year-old and shot him. You feel me? Because they don't mind the elites who happen to be white don't mind throwing other white people under the bus to get their agenda off. Just like niggas that gangbang don't mind throwing younger black people under the bus to get a motherfucker, a big homie. I have you go hit a lick, keep the money. Now you got 30 years in prison just for him to say he sent you to do that. So I could understand how to
blood sacrifice, Pharaoh. You know that.
Exactly. So this is what people got to realize. And so it's like, if we come together, how long will that last will be determined by people's mental strength and whose community is doing what. And so if we just bring 1,000 random ass white and black people together, we don't know the mentalities of all these motherfuckers, and they coming together off the strip of me and your mentality. So what happens that same day at the barbecue when some shit come on the news and it's racist? It's fucked. And it's racist to the point where it's like, ooh, a fight gonna break out. And so the point I'm trying to make is the people got to stop being so goddamn stupid, but we have to start checking each other. And so at least if some racist shit happen, if black people really seen, because we have never seen it, if we really seen white people come to our aid, then we would trust y'all to at least be able to say that's not all white people. If white people really seen niggas publicly try to stop crime, certain crimes, like if a motherfucker selling heroin, if y'all really seen a group of black men come give the drug dealer a job, and if he don't want the job, we run his ass out the community. If y'all seen that, then y'all would stop assuming that all of us support that type of shit. And so until we start, like I said, I keep saying it, until we start getting 10 toes down in our own communities and displaying publicly that we don't approve of certain behavior, then the media gonna flex and finesse us every goddamn time, because as soon as they show something crazy, everybody gonna go crazy, period.
Let me ask you a question. I know we got to end this. We've been here a long time.
Yes, sir. Let me know if I'm still with you, Jeff.
You're with me. You're with me. So how hard would it be if
I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm froze. 1 second.
I can hear you.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Hold up.
All righty. We're here with Young Pharaoh tonight.
I'll be right back in a second. I'm froze, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I'll be back in a second.
We can hear you. Well, he doesn't know we can hear him. Let me send him a chat real quick and say we can hear you.
I'm back.
You back?
I'm
Okay.
back.
Hey, we hear you. So, crazy idea. Let's say that I wanted to go out into the community where I live and look for instances of racism, be able to get them on film and walk up to people and say, hey, that's wrong. Don't do that. Is that possible? Is it possible for me to go out and see racism in daily life and confront it?
You as a white person couldn't find racism.
I really couldn't. I couldn't find white on black racism.
Not unless it was something obvious like police brutality. If you want to see racism, go find a black mother, watch her put an application in for a school that's better than the one in the inner city, and then watch what comes back. That's how you find racism. See, a lot of times white people,
I can't do that.
I'm just exactly, but I'm just saying that's why white people don't see racism, because y'all looking for it too obvious. Y'all looking for niggas to be swinging from trees. Like, you're not gonna, well, you might, I hope you don't see that shit, but
my lady's daughter is 21, just turned 21. And I was talking to her friends. They're like, when we're 21, we don't see race no more. We don't have no racism at 21. Is she just smoking too much weed or what?
Nah, white people not gonna see racism because it's invisible to you. It's like to you, it's like,
Pharaoh, that's amazing.
Yes.
We don't see it. And I'm thinking, I don't understand what this brother's talking about. I don't see this shit going on.
Right. And then it's like, you're not going to see it because to you, it's just like, it's just a school application. What are you talking about? But to me, it's like,
I don't see the mother put in the application and see her get rejected for no other reason than she's black.
Exactly. You don't go to get and I've had multiple cars, y'all. You don't go to, call motherfucking State Farm or Progressive and your bill is super fucking high because you're black. And so, like, listen, I know people right now that got their insurance is higher than they fucking car note because they're black. Remember, I ain't gonna say this, I got a cousin right now. He might as well be driving a fucking Bentley. How high his insurance is, and he not in no 2020, 29. He in some 11 shit. So this is real, but you're not gonna see it because it doesn't happen to you. And
but
so,
how can I show a good example if I don't ever see any example to react to?
Because we can prove it happens through statistics.
Gotcha.
So this is where white people would have to come in and say, listen, this shit gotta stop. I don't give a fuck if it ain't happening to me. It gotta stop. This shit has to stop.
Okay, I get you now.
Yeah, because you got black people right now, and I used to do it. I'm not gonna lie. When we fill out a job application, we put other, because we got a better chance of getting that job if you don't know who the fuck I am than if I check that box that say black. And as funny as that is, that's not funny. And so I ain't lying. Listen, I'm not lying. I used to do that shit when that shit say white.
Check that box and say transgender or something.
Listen, if I had to get a job, I'd be to check that bitch before I check. But and ain't that's crazy that if we putting in for a job application, right? If it say white, black, Asian, Chinese, transgender, that shit could say Adolf Hitler's brother. You have a better chance of getting that job if you check any other box but the black one. That right there let you know racism is this shit's still strong. And so, and
I know you're not just saying shit because I know that you did the research.
Yeah, listen, any black person that's in the chat right now, tell me if you've ever filled out a job application and clicked the other. I mean, and checked the other.
Yeah.
So why? And the reason's always the same, because you know that the employer, if he don't know who you are, it's a more likely chance that he'll call you in for the interview versus if he knows who you are. And so this is why, like I said, this is why white people don't see racism.
You know what's fucked up? I'll confess on, you know, this shit is happening to y'all, and we're over here saying, well, these motherfuckers, they got affirmative action, they got set aside, so some of the jobs got to go to black people. They got set aside, so some of the jobs got to go to black companies. Why the fuck can't it just be the best company? Because we don't know this shit that you just been telling us. And
then, well, you probably don't, but a lot of white people do.
I have no fucking idea. So I need to quit worrying about, I mean, is affirmative action, I mean, I think we both would agree it's not a great idea, but with the shit that's been happening, it might be a necessary idea.
Yeah.
So we need to quit bitching about it and start being more supportive so we can help our neighbors. I would rather have you as a friend than as a motherfucking enemy.
And vice versa. And so this is what we need. What we doing now is what
I got 2 black belts, but I seen you flipping and twirling and kicking and shit. I'm a little worried.
I tried. But this is what we doing now is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So we need to have people that have fucking common sense from both our communities, have a real conversation without getting emotionally crazy and coming up with solutions. If we could do, imagine if me and you was live on CNN right now. Could you fucking imagine, Jeff? Could you
fucking change the world overnight?
Exactly. And so this is what the fuck we need. We need for people to say, you know what? Jeff's argument is valid. I don't give a fuck if I'm black. It's right. And we need people like Jeff to say, Young Pharaoh argument is valid. I don't give a fuck if I'm white. And let's check. Now that we identified the problem, there's nothing left to do but to change it. If you don't change it, you're the problem. You become the problem. And so, you know, when it comes to black people, right? We accept the fact that we don't own none of this shit. We accept the fact that we're not going to be on top as long as we're integrated with another race of people. It don't got to be white. If niggas go to China right now and Chinese people start acting like how white people act in the 40s, and then we march and do civil rights over there all over again, we're going to be in the same boat over there that we in over here. And so it just comes down to simple fucking common sense. No 2 people are going to be on top in an integrated system if they don't share. Somebody gonna put somebody on the fucking bottom. That's just how caste systems and hierarchies work. When one particular person don't want to share with the other person, and so it really just comes.
We got to change the people. Hearts got to change.
And another thing that I feel needs to change is white people need to just act. This is what white people need to do. They need to wake up in the morning and say, "Are we going to share with black people? If not, let them motherfuckers go." I would be more happy if the government said, niggas, y'all niggas is not citizens no more. I don't know what y'all gonna do or where y'all gonna go, but go figure that shit out. We got a better shot.
Do you want me to wake up in the morning and say, do I want to give black people some of my shit?
Nah, you don't got to give me shit, Jeff. This is what I mean by pitying me.
Okay.
Unless you stole it or you took it, you don't got to give me shit. If you work for it, that's for your family. That's for your kid. I'm a man just like you.
Wake up in the morning and say, let me share with black people, Asian people, man. Let me share with all people.
Right. But you don't got to listen. You know, when you were a kid and your mama.
You tell me to share. If we were kids, if we were 5, nobody had to tell me to share with you.
Don't forget, it's certain shit when you were a kid that you don't share. It's that one toy that this is
get my fucking Major Matt Mason.
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna. It's like this is the toys my friends could play with, and it's the one my grandfather gave, my father gave. Yeah. So it's everybody. Like, you deserve to have shit that got sentimental value.
That's
I'm not saying let me in your whole, treasury. But what I'm saying is, let's identify the shit that should be shared. For example, I just seen an article. I can't think of his name. Some asshole just said water is a privilege.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, but it's just like, you motherfucker. Like, so this is what I mean by shit. Like, so what you saying? So now you finna start claiming water and saying who the fuck? Because then what happens when some trillionaire asshole says air is a privilege and they put a dome on this motherfucker and say, oh, you ain't paid your air bill, bitch, you about to suffocate. So
you've seen that shit in the movies already. They're warming us up.
Exactly. And so this is what I mean by share. Only thing that I would ever ask white people to give me back is what the fuck you took. So I do feel that 100% of museums need to give us our shit back. And the reason I say that is because if I went to ancient Greece and I conquered ancient Greece, but then one day I said, you know what, I'm peaceful. I don't feel like pillaging. We're going to grow up in harmony and live this Black American Greece dream. But I charged you, Jeff, to come see your shit. I charged you to come see Athena. I charged you to come see Hercules. That's extortion.
That
this
is
my shit. I didn't build this shit. So if I'm really sorry about what I did, the least I could do is give you back your motherfucking artifacts. So
who would they give? That's a great idea, but who does it go back to?
Where, listen, they could leave that shit there. Just give us the paperwork, give us the ownership, give us our motherfucking money. I'm not saying
no problem with that.
You can leave that shit right there. Just forfeit the motherfucking title. That's all I'm saying. It's our shit. I'm not saying you know, find somewhere on the planet Earth to go. I'm not even saying give up your mother. All I'm saying is the shit that you can wake up in the morning as a white man that owns the British Museum and walk down any one of these aisles and confirm to yourself you did not create this shit. And so since we can confirm that, why is it not extortion? Or why is it not criminal behavior for you to be charging me for listen, it's like that's like if I that's like this, right? This statue, right? Somebody gave me. That's like if I made this statue from scratch and I said my intentions with this statue is for my descendants for the next 10,000 years to know that this is the level of consciousness that we obtained. The same thing with the Buddhist bees. The Buddhist bees is a spiritual symbol of conscience that you can obtain. So if I say my ancestors said, listen, this shit is a symbol that I want African people to know that this is the level of consciousness that we obtain. And then let's say some random motherfucker from another race comes, take this, put it in a museum and charge African people to see something that was meant for them by another African person. That's criminal behavior. So I'm not telling the motherfucker that owned the British Museum to give up his house, give up his land, or chop out his bank account if he made money outside of that. All I'm saying is the shit that you made from me, I want that. Everything else, you can keep the motherfucker. You can keep the goddamn museum. I don't need the bitch. All I'm saying is the stuff that was meant for me, can I have it? That's a logical question. It's like I'm not asking white people to go on outer space and find somewhere to. I don't give a fuck, man. The planet is big enough for anybody that want to be peaceful. If you don't want to be peaceful, we can do whatever you want to do. But if you want to be peaceful, this shit big enough for everybody. And so my thing is, all I'm saying is to the white community, it's not an irrational question for black people to say, well, can I have the shit that my great grandmama made for me? That's like a very logical question. If I was in power and white people said, listen, Pharaoh, okay, you say that you don't want to, you know, walk in the footsteps of your ancestors, and you say that you don't believe what they did was just. Can I have back the shit that y'all took? Now that's like me looking you in your face right now, Jeff, and saying, yeah, I can't really do that. Like now, how would you say? You a man, Jeff? You a man? You gonna be like, nigga, what you mean, motherfucker? Like you a man, Jeff? You're not gonna let me bitch you like that. I'm bitching you, baby. That's like Debo when the motherfucker come back to get the bike, and Debo uppercut his ass and be like, oh, the bike back here. You a man? So it's like, as a black man, do I let the world think I'm a pussy? Especially if I know. See, it's one thing if I don't know, but once I acknowledge that I know, I have to act on the fact that I let you know that I know. So if I tell the British Museum right now, that's my shit, can I have my shit back? And they say no. What if one day I come into power and I got an army? Do the British Museum think I'm not coming? Because I'm coming for sure. And so my thing is, we can make things right now. I'm not telling white people to give back every motherfucking thing. I don't. If you earned it, it's yours. You can't listen. I didn't jugged. That's like a motherfucker calling me right now saying, Pharaoh, you robbed me some years ago. Bitch, fuck you. You're not getting it back. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So my thing is, it's done. A lot of shit is done. It got to be let go. But for the shit that's sacred, like pyramids, like they made the Gods of Egypt movie and showed white people shit like, you know, just a whitewashing of history. We just want our culture back. We want our spirituality back. What we built before, we can rebuild again. Nothing that can be created. If there's nothing that has ever been created that can't be recreated. So we're not attached to this fantasy thing that y'all took everything from us. All we saying is give us back the things that inspire us so that we can recreate it. Period. You could be next door while I build a pyramid. I don't give a fuck. I'm not saying you gotta go. It ain't gonna come in your yard. It ain't gonna fuck with you. It ain't gonna bother you. All I'm saying is, can I have the shit back so that I can be inspired to do it? And so every race on the planet Earth is able to be inspired by the historical foundations left by their ancestors. Chinese people can look at certain shit and they want to go do a ninja flip or something.
Yeah.
People can look at certain shit and y'all want to go tear some shit up. Black people, we don't have nothing to look at, Jeff. Nothing besides niggas on BT and slave movies. We have nothing. And then the world look at us like, why y'all don't want to be shit? We don't know what we could be. And then when a nigga come like me that starts, trying to put this electricity back in my people, a lot of white people look at me like, oh, that nigga's a threat. Oh, what they call it now? Black extremists. Lock his ass up. And it's like, what the fuck? And so it's like, we don't have nothing. And so
it'd be a better world if black people were aware of, proud of their heritage and were full and whole. At the same time, it'd be a better world if white people were aware of their heritage, full and whole.
Yes. And I'm not saying it in the manner of, if we go to school and they mixed, that we should force you to learn Black history. If you don't want to learn Black history, Jeff, it does not offend me. If you look at me right now and say, I don't give a fuck about no pyramid, it doesn't hurt me because you don't have to. It's not yours. All I'm saying is, why force it? Excuse me. That's like when we go to school, we are forced to learn about white history. Whether it's true or not, we're forced. Y'all don't go to school and a motherfucker come in there with dreads and say, sit down, white people. We finna talk about Africa. Y'all not forced to listen to that shit. We're forced. We're forced. Knowing that Christopher Columbus didn't even make it over here, we got to write that shit down. Period. I done got essays before where we had to do essays on slavery, and at the bottom it say, note, don't say nothing bad. So they making niggas do essays on slavery, and we can't even say fuck the slave master, or no, we gotta talk about slavery like this shit was a vacation.
They're teaching us bullshit too, and we know it. And it's time to opt out of that shit. And so
this is what I want white people to do. Every time y'all realize that society is shitting on y'all, multiply that shit by 1,000 for us. So when you say they teaching y'all bullshit, at least the bullshit look like you. It ain't true, but it's white.
Let me ask you a hard question.
Go ahead.
It's important for a person to be proud of their race, know their heritage, and feel, because the shit that people don't get, it's something spiritual. Like me, this light went on to me. I used to be a Christian. Why am I worshiping these fucking gods? I don't know these gods. I'm from Ireland, and I began to get into the fucking Irish gods, the Irish people.
Right.
Heritage, my heritage.
Right.
You get into your heritage and you connect with your ancestors. It's a spiritual power, and it's you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You don't need to fuck with nobody else. You know who you are. Do we weaken our races? Hard question. Do we weaken our races by intermarrying?
Like interracial dating?
Interracial dating, interracial marriage.
You do. Hell yeah, you do. Because Jeff, I can't allow you to continue your legacy if I infringe upon it. Now, I'm not saying, let me give my disclaimer.
Yep.
You are who you are and where you are. If you with another person right now, you in an interracial relationship, kudos, have a relationship. We not saying that. But what we saying is, how could I look a white woman in the face as a black man and tell this woman to carry her legacy on when today, I'm not talking about, I can see if black people lived over here and white people lived over here and y'all had y'all shit together, we had our shit together, and then we chose to marry. We're not talking about that. We're talking about right now, how the fuck I'm gonna get into a relationship with a white woman? I could barely get a fucking job. What happens when a white woman says, honey, could you go to fucking Walmart and da-da-da-da? And I'm like, nope, it's 10 o'clock, babe. Can't leave. It's like, how the fuck is we gonna have a functioning relationship? We don't have a functioning relationship in society presently, historically, presently. So I think that and then on top of that, historically, because how do we have the conversation? Look, if I have kids with a white woman, right? It's a part of me that is bitter and wants revenge. That's just true to anybody that's been oppressed. But it's the way you go about it. So how do I look this white woman in the face and say, we about to teach, whoever we had, boy or girl? How do I look our kid in the face and tell her to accept me talking down on shit her forefathers did? Because whether it was wrong or not, it was her forefathers. So that's like me looking at my kids and saying, the white man did this, the white man did that. If I really go down the list realistically, and I say white people took pregnant women, cut the babies out the stomach, and used them as alligator bait. How the fuck is my white woman supposed to look at her own people now? How is my kid supposed to look at his mother white side? You feel me? If I say white people did this, they took our language, they did that, my kid gonna start hating his mama. And my mama might start hating herself. But then what happens when she start telling my kid, shit, don't you go to the motherfucking projects, they gonna rob you, because that's true too. So now he gonna start looking at me like he don't want to hang with my family because they ratchet as a motherfucker. And so there's no way that I believe two real people. If you a sleep white person and a sleep black person, you can make it work. But two people that's really informed on what's going on both sides, I don't think that they can have a successful relationship unless, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wouldn't prefer to recommend it, but I don't think they can have a successful relationship unless we clean the world up, because we can't, it's too many wounds. It's too many untreated wounds on both sides. White people, you know, y'all got y'all issues. We got our issues. And there's no way that we can act like we both not bleeding from wounds. There's no way that I can act like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put a smile on in society. I'm not fucking happy. I wake up every day, and when I'm in my car, just going to the gym, in the back of my mind, I'm hoping I don't get pulled over and shot just for being black. That's a fucking reality. That's a reality for me. And so a white woman wouldn't be able to understand. I wouldn't even talk to a white woman, Jeff, honestly, not only because I'm trying to build my own people, but because I'm too scared to drive where the fuck she live. I'm not coming out there to talk to you. The fuck you talking about? Where you live? Oh no. Oh no. That's that. All I heard when she said come over was get pulled over by the motherfucking troopers. And then when they ask you where you going, you better not say you're going to a motherfucking female house, because they're gonna put two and two together, and then you're gonna be going to the big house. So it's just too much shit going on. You know what I mean? For us to, I think we need to clean this shit up. And then for people who want to, you know, intermingle, do y'all. But I don't believe that shit should be, because it's blurring the lines and it's causing us to not say real shit. Because
and how do we balance that with the fact, and I'm assuming that you believe this, I think you probably do, that really at the energetic, etheric level, we're spirit, we're not these bodies.
Yes, that's a fact.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
So how do we balance the fact that we do, some of us is black, some of us is white, we have to deal with that. Yeah, we know that we're really spirits down on the inside, but we still got to deal with the fact that we're in this shit now. That's right.
Well, it comes down to genetics, because you program the consciousness or the information field of an entity through genetics. And so this conversation is about to get a little hot. So y'all gotta.
And we'll wrap it up with this.
Yeah, y'all gotta put your big boy pants on. Whether you believe to people that's watching in extraterrestrials, they are fucking real. Okay, they are real. And so the point I'm trying to make is this: everybody on the planet Earth has their own genetic sequence. We are not all the same fucking race. And so here's why I'm going. Black people, we're more reptile based. White people are more primate based. And so when you deal with, you ever heard of red blood cell hemolysis?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna break down medical illnesses, and I'm gonna break these down so that y'all can research them. And y'all know I'm not capping, I'm not being racist, I'm being truthful so we can save each other. When a black person and a white person have a kid, for example, we share our DNA with reptiles. Y'all share your DNA with chimpanzees. And so that being said, when a black person and a white person have sex, there's a process called red blood cell hemolysis. And this is where the RH factor, RH means rhesus monkey, begins to break down the blood cells and the hemoglobin within the blood, and specifically down to the bilirubin. And this produces the medical illness that we see in children called jaundice. And so this happens when two separate species, our bodies see us as two separate species, begin to procreate. And so this leads to what you call hemolytic disease. Now, I'm not being racist. Any interracial couple out there listening to this, most likely you've had to go through this in the hospital. They have a shot called a ROGAM shot. And the ROGAM shot tells your immune system of the mother to not send blood cells across the placenta and terminate the pregnancy, because your body sees the child as a foreign species. Now, I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, so what happens is with the hemolytic disease is, me as a black person, if I become impregnated by a white person, my reptilian-based DNA is now processing primate DNA. And so my body is saying this shit is not supposed to be in here. And it starts to try to terminate the pregnancy. And doctors have to give mothers a fucking, it's called a ROGAM shot. Go look it up. Anybody in the comments that's ever been pregnant by somebody of another race, you most likely had to get the shot. And the shot tells the mother not to terminate the pregnancy. And so the reason I'm saying this is because genetics is fucking important. We are not all the same. We don't all have the same ancestors. We don't all have the same genetic sequences. This is not to say, Jeff, I look down on you. This is to say, be the best you can be, Jeff. And what environment is most conducive to your DNA? What type of stimulation will help you unlock the amino acid code in your DNA so you reach your higher self? And the reason when we say your higher self, we forget the word your is in the front. My higher self is not Jeff's higher self. I'm a sun-based organism. I get my frequency and energy from the sun. Jeff is not. Jeff has a different environment. So my thing is, if we learn to be mature here and respect individual, a lion wouldn't. If a lion had the capacity to speak with a, let's say, a fucking frog, a lion wouldn't feel insecure about telling the frog it's a lion. The frog wouldn't feel insecure about telling the lion it's a frog. And what they would do is they would say, well, damn, frog, what's best for you? Lily pad, swan. Okay, damn, lion, what's best for you? Safari. I mean, this, that, and that. And they would go, they would interact and the way they can. So I think when we tell each other, you know, shit like we all the same, that's doing a motherfucker a disservice, because you gonna try shit that I tried and you're not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna try shit you gonna try and I'm not gonna be able to do it. But now we insecure. Now, you know, we jealous. Now we envious. Now we, you know, we ego fighting because we not trying to accept if somebody's not trying to accept the fact that they can't do what the other person's doing because they've been taught that they should be able to. And
yeah,
so
that frog gonna get all pissed off because he can't run as fast as a lion. And the lion don't get all pissed off because he can't stay in the water for 5 minutes like the frog.
Exactly. Because they both fucking retarded. Because they've been
but you got other retarded people trying to convince lions and frogs they're the same motherfuckers, but they're not.
Right. And so this is why I try to tell, this is the hardest thing to try to tell white people, especially me being black, because white people already got this subconscious defense to try to show that they're not racist and show that they are.
You do.
Yeah, and so if I tell a white person, we ain't the motherfucking same, you white, I'm black, then they be like, we're all the same. And they think that I'm being racist.
They start singing, it don't matter if you're black or white.
They start singing that shit. And so it's like they start trying to pull out their humanitarian award of the year motherfucking trophy on me. And it's like, I'm not saying it.
Tell you how many black friends they got.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, I'm not trying to be vindictive. I'm not trying to weaponize information. I'm trying to do you a favor, because the better
we load off. If you realize that, shit, we are different.
Man, listen.
And look, we don't have to. We don't. When Jeff Daugherty and Young Pharaoh meet out in the street, we shake each other's hand. We talk. Maybe we have you know, some vegetarian pad thai together. We have a good time. But Pharaoh's going home to his house. I'm going home to my house. I don't got to do what he does. He don't got to do what I do. But when we come together, we just don't fight each other. We work together. He has his shit. I got my shit.
Man, Jeff, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. And I'm whatchamacallit. We could double back on a segment, another segment when we got more time, and do a more specific detailed thing on genetics. I have a PowerPoint up and I will show people, you know, what I'm talking about. But did you know that a lot of medical illnesses actually come from interracial dating? People don't know that diabetes come from interracial dating. Diabetes is an offspring of an error in the genetic code that came from Neanderthals interacting with humans. And so most of the shit that we go to the doctor for today could be avoided if we just chill the fuck out. So
if we would just let black people be proud of their race, let us be proud of our race. We don't need to be marrying each other. Frogs ain't trying to marry lions. Lions ain't trying to marry frogs.
And most people don't realize they doing it because they trying too hard to show that they are humanitarians. And it's like, and this is why I was telling you.
I will tell you the first kiss I ever got that was from a black girl. I had to put that out there.
Listen, lucky you, Jeff. Lucky you. And so it's like we don't have to we don't have to go extra hard to show people that we have basic fucking decency for life. It's like
insecure. We got that insecurity in us.
Yes, and that's why that's why I tell white people.
Goddamn lion doesn't feel bad because he ain't a horse.
But some people do. And so it's like, you know, it's just like I said, man, it's gonna come to us, man. We're gonna have to break the fuck off from the broken and infected aspects of our people. Even if we can't get away, you know, we gotta at least, you know, wave our hand and say, hey, I'm not this motherfucker. Like,
dude, it's as easy as not being stupid.
Period. And so, you know, people need
and being realizing that nature is nature.
Yeah, and humans only acknowledge genetics until it come to other humans.
That's
like,
right.
like, cause your ass will go to jail if you put an animal in a horrible environment. Them animal rights activists will come tear your ass up. Go buy a motherfucking dolphin and put that motherfucker in some sand and see where you be. And then
Young Pharaoh, the fucked up thing is that there's people out there right now saying, "Oh, these two bitches are racist," because we say you're different. We're wrapping this up. Huh?
Oh, I can hear you.
You can or can't?
I can see it playing. I can see it playing on my phone, but I just can't hear my own stuff.
Oh, okay.
Right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Go ahead.
All righty. That's the messed up. When you tell the truth, you're racist. When you go with the lies, then you're not racist.
Right. And it's time for that shit. It's time for that shit to stop. It's like, is we grown or is we not, man? It's the word man is in, you know, conjunction with your ethnicity for a reason, because it's a virtue that comes with being a man. It's a certain level of maturity. Like stealing is wrong. That's just universal. It's not stealing is wrong unless you black and you stealing from a white man. No, stealing is wrong and it's wrong. So it's like, when does the moral template or the moral compass that we allegedly supposed to have as fucking humans, when do we use that? Or do we only pick and choose when we want to use that shit? And so, you know, my thing is, I'm going to say some shit out, yo. If you white and you watching this, if you bring your ass to my channel, if you going to get your feelings hurt if you hear some certain shit and you're not ready for it. So you got to prepare yourself, because you in another motherfucking, you in another depth of water with me. But it's not out of maliciousness. It's out of facts. So you're going to hear me talk about genetics. You're going to hear me talk about how white people, black people are not the same. You're also going to hear me say that I'm not weaponizing knowledge. I'm not trying to belittle nobody. I'm just telling you the shit your science teacher told you. For example, I exposed how evolution was a lie. And the reason that that's important to expose is because it's racist. Because what it says is monkeys turned into black people. And then they say through the pseudoscience of natural selection that the universe naturally selected the most advanced form of human to become white. So it subconsciously tells you that the universe is like, oh, I'm a monkey. Now I'm a nigga. Oh, hell no, I don't want to be no nigga. I got to be a white man. And so it's like, I debunked the evolution theory, right? Because that's basically what the shit said. So basically, when I debunked it, I had to go into genetics to show certain sequences in the DNA. So if you watch that lecture, you're going to be offended if you didn't know certain shit. And so, whatchamacallit, it's just about maturity, and it's about respecting the flow of information. And the reason that that's important is because if I go to school, if me and Jeff as teenagers and we in school, me and Jeff is both learning that we came from monkeys. Except Jeff is learning that he came from me and I came from the monkey, which both is not true. Yeah. But the point is, who's walking away feeling like they closer to an animal? Who's walking away feeling like they're less than? Who's walking away never knowing who they really are genetically? And so I could grow up, and if I grow up and I go to a white school, I would never know really who I was as a black person, because I was taught that I'm in the middle of a white person. It's a white man in front of me and there's a monkey behind me, and I'm just somewhere in the middle of that shit. And so I would never know how to stimulate myself. Like, for example, they say don't look into the sun. Now that's true if you don't have a certain level of neuromelanin in your eye. So if I'm black, I'll fuck around. It's niggas out here just putting on sunscreen. like real life. And that's because they have been educated by somebody that applies for. It doesn't apply to them. This is not me little white people or none of that. But
you got the damn owner's manual for the Toyota and you're a Ford.
Exactly. Exactly. And so at what point in time would a government say, you know what? Black people, this is for y'all. And I would respect it if they just said, this is for y'all, but y'all do it. We're not doing that shit. Come on, I do it. Let's go. But I'm not saying it's the government's job to research Black history, create a curriculum, then give it to me. I'm not asking y'all to do no extra labor.
Well, shit, Obama could have done that shit in 8 years. I'm just saying.
I'm saying, I agree. All I'm saying is, can the government at least agree that we do need a separate science class and history class? We can share math. We can share English. We can share every other motherfucking subject. We cannot share history, and we cannot share science. We can't. We two different people.
What would be the harm of you learning some white history and me learning some Black history, so we respect one another more?
Exactly. But
they're like, damn, those motherfuckers did some cool shit.
It's all about racism. That's why, like, I checked out a couple of your videos, and I love exactly where you're going. I can't wait till we come back on here and we delve into, you know, some of the topics that even I've heard you speak on, because I come down them same avenues. And it really all just comes down.
Listen, this. We'll be talking all night.
That's right. Go ahead.
We'll be talking all night. Pharaoh, give us a wrap up of where they find you, and give us some of your, lay some wisdom on us that they'll be thinking about tomorrow when they're drinking their coffee.
I'm going to say this, y'all. You can't control the narrative that you did not create. So since we're on a Christian whistleblower channel, I'm gonna go here with it. The evolution theory, as I just explained, perpetuates racism. Religion perpetuates racism. God chose every other race over Black people. I just did an entire video on this. Now, why is this important? We subscribe to narratives every day that we did not create, but yet we accept. It's not about your conscious mind. It's about your subconscious mind, which controls 90% of everything that you do consciously. And so the individuals in the world change the world. As I said before, the world does not change the individuals. The only way the individuals are going to change the world is if they change their hearts, so that they change the way they think. So let's just get rid of bullshit. Let's take all the bullshit off the table, and let's just deal with the essence of life. Let's just deal with, if we stop trying to prove one religion over the other, stop trying to prove, you know, evolution theories and shit like that. Stop trying to prove, you know, all of this bullshit. And we just sit down and say, everybody needs water. Everybody needs air. Everybody needs electricity. We have technology. How can we utilize technology so that everybody has a decent fucking shot at life? This should be everybody's argument and goal. All of the other shit you arguing is only because you're not arguing that. Even money. Motherfuckers be talking about donate to third world countries. We don't need to donate to a third world country. Take your ass over there, build a fucking power plant that runs off 0-point energy. There you go. And so if you're not talking about making the world a neutral, equal place for everybody, then you in the wrong argument. And so even arguing shit like police brutality, it becomes obsolete. Because if we had free energy, 90% of crime will go away. The only crimes that will still be here is crimes of psychotic states. Like if you like to eat motherfuckers, or just weird Jeffrey Dahmer shit. You know what I'm saying? But stuff like white collar crime or niggas hitting a lick, that shit would be gone, because I wouldn't have to hit a lick. My lights would just be on. White people wouldn't have to do that because your lights would be on. So we would actually be able to focus on the mind and who out here really being crazy. And so the wisdom I want to leave y'all with is this. The universe gave you everything in abundance. You the motherfucker that have been tricked into believing you don't have enough. And since you now accept that ideology, you turn everybody into an enemy so that you can trick yourself into believing that to be true. There's enough energy out here for everybody, and that's just what it is. The question is, who wants to be an asshole and hold it, and who wants to be an asshole and not hold it? I ask that all Black people watching this.
Sorry.
Yeah. Now go ahead. Don't worry about it. Listen, please. My channel don't worry about it at all. It get real on my channel. My channel is all kind of shit happen. But with that being said, I hope Black people that's watching this take my mind frame back to whatever community you in, and take the frustration that you have and realize that nobody's denying it. It's definitely true. But know that your job is to wake your people up so that you can do for yourself. I hope all the white people that's watching this is to take that same understanding, but reverse it to your community. You have a job in your community to do, which is to find the most positive people of your community. And I think all of the positive people of every community needs to come together and overthrow the wicked motherfuckers. Because this shit could be all so simple if we stop being afraid. I'm gonna end on this, Jeff. Here we go. It just clicked. The reason that you hung with shitty people in high school is the reason that the world is fucked up. You afraid to check your peer group. You afraid. Half y'all didn't even want to skip class, but if you didn't skip, you would seem like you wasn't cool. So how many black people are watching this and you scared to tell your cousin, I'm kind of uncomfortable with the fact you be having hella guns in my motherfucking house, but I'm not gonna say shit because I'm gonna seem like a lame. I'm kind of uncomfortable with the fact you be doing weird, shit that you be doing, but I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't seem like I'm not cool. And so same thing, white people. I'm kind of uncomfortable with the fact I'm a rookie on the force, and I just seen you pull over 10 black people today for no reason. But I'm not gonna say shit because I don't want to seem like that guy. Motherfuckers gotta kill peer pressure. We gotta start putting pressure on our motherfucking peers to let you know, bitch, what you do is not just your personal choice, is how you represent us collectively. So what you do as a black person, even though you think, well, I can do what I want, bitch, that don't mean somebody else not gonna see me the way they see you, even though I'm not you. So people need to realize that that everything you do on social media and in your personal life, you have just become the motherfucking attorney, the image attorney for your community. And so I don't care if you don't know me. Don't be doing no bum ass shit in public because somebody's gonna see me and think I feel that way. And so we must stand up to our peers and get them out of the way because they the pawns on the board, so we can go get that king and that queen, which is the elites. And that's the message I want to leave y'all on, and I hope that I've moved something to some of you. And thank you, Jeff, once again for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure to have you. It really has been a true honor and a privilege. And I think that we should do this on a regular basis.
Yep. Listen, whenever you're ready to have me, you can reach out. Matter of fact, I'll shoot you my number through the email.
Okay.
That way you can contact me personally. We can come up with some hot topics and tap in on religion. I think we need to tap in on we definitely need to tap in on racism and religion, and we need to tap in on interdimensional fluctuations of consciousness and who's really doing what and what is rituals and all of this type of shit, because people don't really understand the science behind how things work, and this is why they don't believe it. So it's like, if we was to say, okay, they sacrifice this many kids on a Tuesday, that might just sound stupid. But if I tell you that Mars emits a gas that's called a solar prominence, and it comes into the atmosphere and you digest it biologically and it influences you psychologically, and then blood that's fear-based has adrenochrome and this shit pops open this part of your brain, then you'll understand it. And so we need to hit things like, rituals, why the elites do shit that's fear-based, and then we need to hit religion, and for two reasons. I would love to hear a white person's perspective on religion as well as mine, because I know that we read the book, but it don't say the same shit, even though we read the same word. So I would love to see what in the book hit you that made you wake up. Because like for me, most black people, we get to the slave part where it says slave, obey your earthly master. We was like, oh, hell no. But I would love to see what you read that made you say, hold on.
I said the same thing to the same verse because they want, and the thing that got me was God. Paul said, you are all slaves of God. I'm like, wait a damn minute. Yeah, they worked out for young Pharaoh. Not good. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. So I look forward to coming back. We
do some live stuff. I don't know where, I'll come to where you're at. We'll do some live stuff. We'll have a good time to change the damn world.
That's right. And I'm hoping we could build a good relationship, because what I would love to do is take this type of shit beyond the internet. I don't go for what we do. I don't even go for what kind of, because I do public speaking events already. I don't know if you do.
I do stand up.
Yeah, perfect. So I would love to build a good relationship, get some good people, even if we just do invite only. I wouldn't give a fuck.
No.
I would love to take this beyond the internet, so that way we can actually push this frequency out there to let people know. Yeah, to let people know that this is how you put pressure on the administration. This is what they fear. So this is what got to get pushed. People that can acknowledge the truth and take that and actually build with that, instead of trying to fight on either side and be egotistical. So I'm looking forward to this link up. This was right in alignment with what I know needs to be done in this world, period. And I appreciate you having me on this platform.
He's Young Pharaoh. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We salute you for being here, seeking after truth, and this won't be the last time that you see us together. And let's do and put into practice some of this shit that we heard here tonight.
That's right.
For Young Pharaoh, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, wishing you a really good evening, and we'll see you again real soon.
Love y'all. Peace.